said he's waiting for Uber to flush. Ooh, I like Uber. But ever since that robo-taxi news, or story, I should say, because it wasn't really, all we got was on August 8th, look out for the robo-taxi. We don't really know exactly what that's going to be. It's been looking a little bit weak on Uber. And the downside is Uber has lost, not just lost the 50 period, but since it came back underneath, look at it just hold exactly at the 50 period moving average on the daily at $76. So I look at that, and it just rejected it again today. That's pretty bearish. Lower high, rejected trying to break the 50 on the daily with that move here, and now heading to the downside. I'd be inclined to think Uber looks short. To me, it's breaking the low of the day as we speak. You know what? I'm convincing myself. I'm going to short back into VWAP in here on Uber. I like the stock, but when you lose the 50-period moving average on a false breakout, then a short into VWAP is going to make sense. It is now 11 o'clock. We'll send you guys on over. It's Learn to Trade Small Caps with Adara and the Professor.
What is up, beautiful people?
Oh, sorry. What is up, beautiful people? To use a Sharifism, I am Adara, and that is Sharif. And today we are talking about trading, and the markets are moving. This is How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. I am clearly not a great Sharif.
Oh, you can do it your own way, though, so you're good to go. How's it going? How's your weekend?
Things are good. We slept a lot. I wrote a little bit, and I'm excited to trade today live for the first time.
We're on the two-shot. There we go.
I'm excited to trade today live for the first time.
Yes.
So we shall see how that goes.
That's going to be
cautiously
huge.
Optimistic.
I noticed the layouts changed. The colors have changed a little bit. Now it's a live setup. You're good to go there.
I've cleaned it up a little bit. It was a lot messier on my side charts, as Sharif can attest, in the past. And now it's marginally neater, which is always nice.
Much neater. It's really
Thank you.
good.
Appreciate that.
Let's do the patented roll call, baby. There we go. We got Mel E. We got Hold My Beer. Pillsbury, we got Market Sniper, Tisha Perkins, small cap trader extraordinaire. We got Andrew Chow, Mateus Lane. We got Ronaldo. We got the best, the world's greatest moderator, baby. Bears versus Bulls. We got Joseph Horn, David Clark, Big Bob W. What's up, sir? We got Christopher Holcomb. And we got Manesh Mahat, we got Adam Khalifa, we got Stan, Matt Booth, Harris Ruck, Christian, and Jimmy Cassius. That's an awesome name right there. Love that. Or Cassius? How do you say it? Yeah, do you say it Cassius or Cassius?
Cassius.
Nice, yeah. I used to have a dog named Cassius.
Oh, that's
he was a boxer, so it was a little on the nose,
I like
of course.
That. I mean, you know I'm down for that.
Yeah. That was, I actually named him. He was my parents' dog, though, not my own. All right, guys, we are talking about small cap trading all week. Right before we dive into that, let's have a look at the small caps that are moving on the day. Let's bring in the trusty small cap chart over here. The biggest, the baddest of them all on the day goes by the ticker KAVL, Cavel. Let me give you deets on this one. Cavel Brands Innovations is $16 million market cap, with a float of less than 1 million shares, 843,000 and change. This one's been a multiple halter, to the high, to the up and downside. Let's have a look at this one. This one really started going right after the bell, 9:45, and then it halted from 9:46 to 10:31. I believe 10:31. It opened up there. That was typically that you should have been. They were saying it's a circuit breaker halt here, but that's usually a news pending. But in any event, you had then some more normal halts, all 5-minute volatility halts to the upside. This one actually, contrary to what I just said, did not halt to the downside. It is now breaking below the volume-weighted average price, below 615, and obviously on the way down, looks like to $5. So we'll keep an eye on KAVL to see if it's continued to be tradable later into the afternoon. The second baddest, I guess, on the day is Longeveron, LGVN. This one had a split a couple of weeks ago. It also had an offering. Today it's got its own headline, I believe. LGVN, where did I put that bad boy? LGVN, let me just give you the catalyst real quick on this one. Here it is, trading higher following buys from multiple company executives. So it looks like there's some insider buying on Longeveron, precipitating a big move up. Again, much like KAVL, though, trading below the volume-weighted average price, and according to my small cap gapper rules, not tradable. It has great levels from the pre, started moving around 5 a.m., has a definable pre-market high just above that $3 area, 315, broke the pre-market high after the bell, so a lot of check marks beside its name. Sadly, though, can't seem to stay above the volume-weighted average price, therefore not tradable in my book. We'll keep eyes on ONVO as well as ADIL. These are also small cap gappers. ADIL, a holdover from last week. ONVO showing up anew today on my scanner. So we'll keep an eye on the small cap graper. Look at Apple. What the hell is Apple doing here? Breaking into 176. Apple's on a tear to the high side. Flat top break at 175. Shout out to the big kahunas who have been holding this since the low mid 174. I had a dip trade here to try to play the range on AAPL between 175 and 174.5. Forget about that range. The market doesn't give a you know what about my range. Apple on the way up, breaking, coming into highs, printing new highs. We have a high of the pre-market high, excuse me here. Let me just tell you what the pre-market high real quick is on AAPL, and that would be the level that we already broke. It was a 4 a.m. print. It was 176.21. Now it's 176.35. Careful for a mean reversion trade here on AAPL. What a big move up. Is there a catalyst here?
I was just looking.
I'm not intraday?
Seeing anything intraday.
I don't see any increased spending and here. I don't see that they're spending more money in Vietnam. That's what I see.
Oh yeah, I mean I know he visited Vietnam.
That's really weird. Yeah, I know. He visited Vietnam. He didn't say anything later in the day. Okay, so I'm getting these spending more supply money in Vietnam. Anyway, kind of a weird move there intraday for Apple, but who's going to complain about that? We'll keep tabs on that. That's what I was saying about Apple. I was just yelling about that.
We'll keep tablets on that.
We'll keep tablets on Apple. Okay, I like that, Dara. All right, here it is, baby. We are talking about small cap trading all week. And obviously small cap trading, we're gonna look at it from the side of momentum. So we're diving into the exciting world of momentum trading, specifically focusing on small cap stocks. Buckle up, because these trades can be exhilarating, but also require a good amount of focus and discipline. So let's get right to it. What is momentum trading, just so if you're starting anew? So imagine a surfer catching a perfect wave. Momentum trading is similar. You're trying to identify stocks with a surge in buying pressure, which are indicated obviously by rising prices as well as increasing volume. Not just a price watch here. We're also keeping an eye on volume. The goal is to ride that wave up or down, it doesn't matter, for a quick profit before it typically comes right back down. That is kind of the hallmark of these small caps. They're around for a good time, not a long time, all right? And why small caps? Why would you want to trade these small cap gappers that are here today and not here tomorrow? Well, small cap stocks with their lower market capitalization and as well as lower float. Float means the amount of shares that are available on the public markets for trade, okay? It can be more susceptible to momentum swings, and that's what we're looking for here. So a positive news release or even a strong earnings report, so a news catalyst or an earnings release, can cause rapid price increases compared to larger, more established companies. And so that is the benefit here of small cap trading. You get these big percentage moves on an intraday basis, typically that you wouldn't get on an Apple, well, I don't want to say NVIDIA because, you know, NVIDIA has its own thing here, on a more established name, a more blue chip, large cap, okay? And here's how to identify these waves. So we're talking about riding the momentum wave, so to speak. So here are 3 ways that we can really look at getting in how to identify these bad boys. So price breakouts. Specifically here, we're looking for stocks that break above key resistance levels, like previous highs, for example, with a spike in volume. So we're looking for a key break of resistance accompanied by above average volume. And Really easy to be able to see what the average volume is. You can look at the 1-year average. You can use relative volume if you have that as an indicator. And you can just also look at the bar chart on whatever time frame you're trading on. Is there an above average volume candle there that's showing you there's more volume coming in now than there had been previously? So we're looking for a price to break above key resistance or break below key support. Doesn't matter. We can go long or short. And it has to be accompanied by above average volume. And there's also technical indicators that we can help use to identify some of these waves, like tools like the relative strength index. And you've seen the Katina man add RSI to his charts as of late. This can indicate overbought or oversold conditions, right? An RSI, sorry, a reversal in RSI from very high to trending down or very low to trending up might signal a momentum shift. We'll get more into that in a bit. Okay, and there, like we mentioned, the volume spikes, super important here. Watch for sudden increases in trading volume, especially for stocks with relatively flat price movement. If something's been hanging out at $10, between $10 and $11, and all of a sudden there's volume and there is a big break above $11 or below $10, that's usually your indicator right there. So investigate the cause. Is there news that justify the surge, or what is going on? Is it a technical breakout, or is there a news catalyst? And here's an example of a price breakout on a bullish RSI divergence on this slide as well as the next two. So basically what you're looking for here, higher lows with that flat top, and then you get the nice break forward. And here's the RSI price divergence, and by that we mean when price continues to make new highs, but the RSI scale doesn't make new highs. In fact, it creates lower highs or it stays flat. That's RSI price divergence, and that's typically a leading indicator telling you that the good times with the price might be coming to an end. Conversely, if the price continues to make lower highs or doesn't make any higher highs, yet the RSI is making higher highs, that's also divergence, and that may be indicating to you that the price is about to pop. Okay, so always look to see, is the price jiving with the RSI? Are they in confluence? If they're not, usually something is afoot, either bullish or bearish. You need to be able to identify it. Okay, so we identified the waves using these three methods: price breakouts, technical indicators, and volume spike. How do we catch the waves? How do we get into the trade? So there's some general rules that we need to follow. Don't chase the stock, especially the low flow small cap gappers. Don't chase a stock. Okay, don't jump on a stock that's already skyrocketing. Look for a steady rise in the price with a sustained high volume, and look for a pullback entry. And your entry point should aim to enter shortly after the breakout or when the RSI starts to diverge from the price movement. That's why we're kind of belaboring that whole RSI price divergence look, okay? You need to be able to weasel your way into the trade without absolutely having to chase it. And a stop loss. Always have a stop loss in order to place in order to limit losses on momentum trades. What happened to the document here? Okay. What just happened?
I've noticed it like weirdly skips a page sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, sorry about that. And here's some food for thought, guys. Make sure to be patient. Don't fight the trend. If momentum weakens, exit the trade and wait for a better opportunity and take profits. We always talk about this, being thankful. Don't get greedy. Secure some profits along the way, especially for these small cappers. And especially if the stock reaches your target price. Again, your target price should be based on sound technicals, like a key area of resistance. And manage risk. Small cap momentum trading is risky. Use proper risk management techniques, like either dropping your position size or strict stop losses. You heard the individual this morning covering for Michael Moss. What was his name?
Steve Gomez.
Steve Gomez. He was talking about maybe dropping your position size a little bit for some of the recommendations that he was making. So yeah, keep that in mind. Hope you have success trading some small caps. All right, let's have a look here at what AAPL did. Looks like Apple came into that closing print from yesterday and then went huadunk. That closing print, 176.5, and we curled right back down off that level of there.
Yeah, I'm just still getting, I think I thought I had my keys more together than I do, so I'm just getting all my keys ready. But yeah, thank you so much, Sheree, for going over the small cap lesson du jour. I'm really happy we're doing small caps this week because going live, I think we will probably be venturing more into the land of small caps and some of these less expensive stocks. So I am very excited to kind of do that. Right now, my side charts are full of discount EV names is the polite way I'll put it. I've got some Rivian up here. Rivian, where you at? Here we are. I've got some Rivian. I'm interested. I like this flat bottom break. I missed it because I was not trading at that time, but I'm kind of curious to see if we kind of continue to do this stutter step to the downside. If we do, someone's interested, and I am that someone. So I will hopefully be riding this Rivian, taking this R to the downside. So let's see how this goes. I'm interested in kind of what we do here at this 56 level. Also TSLL, which is the Tesla derivative. I'm not uninterested in this either. There's certainly a flattish bottom at 708. I'm trying to figure out a way to play this. I think we could be potentially kind of skirting back up here, a bit of a flat top here at 715. So if we can play this range-wise, I still want to look for ranges even in these other stocks I'm trading. So that will be the goal. No trades right now, just setting up all my lovely little keys. So hopefully we'll have a whole piano worth of keys and to trade opportunities here. Also, day trader cut. This is interesting. Will your first live trade be a YOLO? Probably not. But you could possibly hold the record for biggest first trade P&L win in the real trading employment history. I highly doubt it. But thank you very much for your optimism. I think we will be taking very calculated trades. But I do appreciate that. Yet, Noah, this is my first real day to trade live. So you are witnessing that. Thank you also so much to get a real job, they say, for the $10 super chat. Thank you very much. 5th super chat in the live stream, tagging me, saying, proud of you. I appreciate you and the team. That's very kind of you to say. We really appreciate your support. We appreciate everybody here in the chat. Yes. So thank you very much for your very kind super chat. And yeah, I'm also kind of cautiously optimistic would be the terminology I'm using to try to trade live here today. Thank you very much to Bears vs. Bulls as well. And shout out to you always for all of your support and all the great work you do. What are you looking at today? I'm just found another small cap gapper that you may remember that goes by the ticker MNDR. This was the IPO, I believe, last week. It might have been the week prior. So we'll have a look at this one. This one's up nicely there. Look, I didn't notice this right off the bell, but it did make its move right at 9:30, the bell. So this one was in negative territory, hovering around 14.5. The Friday print for the close was 15. So we were 50 pennies below the closing print on Friday. That didn't last for long, let me tell you, because the volume came in plenty right at that 9:30 area, and we shot up right into 18 bucks. Definitely a seller at $18. Having a look at this ex post facto, look at all the wick shimmy dance into 18 bucks. Can't break 18 bucks though. And then the tank comes in, it comes in furiously too. Off that 18 rejection, we tank all the way down below 16. It looks like we held up at 1580, holding up at the 50 period. And then the volume came in yet again. This time, a completely opposite look. Breaking through 18 like it didn't even matter on the previous occasion. Look how many 5-minute candles rejected off 18. And then this blew through like 18 was never a level. So this one, there is a little bit of bamboozlement. Now, let me tell you something. My first move after the break of 18 would be a wait for it to retrace back into 18, because we know that previous area of resistance has a way of acting as a new area of support, but that already happened on this one. So once we broke 18 here at 1050, we shot up into 1997, essentially 20. Look at this candle. Comes back down right into 18. So if you're waiting for a dip trade at 18, you already got it. So I'm hesitant to try to use that previous 18 level as my dip trade, owing to this candle here at 1055 that already used it. So we'll continue to see it. And besides, MNDR, very spready. If you haven't traded it before, you can just tell by the way it trades how it dips from, like, say, 1935 right back into 1960. So as it's doing right now as we speak, right back down from 1915 to 1920. So MNDR, a spready one, but nonetheless, it's up 29%.
trading above the volume weighted average price. So we're going to keep eyes on this one, set up maybe a dip trade or two. By the way, I was talking badly about KAVL and ADIL while I was reviewing the small cappers. They both now popped up ram above that volume weighted average price. So both KAVL and ADIL now tradable again on my rules.
Nice. Yeah, I think there's a lot of small caps being like, hey, Sharif, look at me, talk about me.
Right.
Jake is very apt given that today it's small cap week. So
right.
Happy. Someone earlier in the chat was saying small cap season. And I
down.
don't think that's inaccurate. Yeah, Sharif just said I'm down. I'm also down. Also, Rivian, if you want to keep going to the downside, I think I will step into this beautiful R2. I really am a fan of those Rivian vehicles. Okay. And see if I can get a short here. I'm kind of interested in this 52 level. Yeah, we're just going to do it. We're going to do it. This is my first live trade, so we're going to do it. We're going to see how it goes. Oh, yeah, you can actually see it on the screen. There we go. So when I'm getting so excited. So that once we get filled, that will be happening, and we're trying to take it. Maybe I want to get some out here at 48 and then save pieces for dreams a little bit below 48. So I have enough for two beak wetters, two very skinny beak wetters that the ducks will not be fully sated. They'll just be a little bit thirsty, but this is very exciting. This is very nerve-wracking and exciting, and I'm very happy to be able to be here sharing this experience with everybody here as well. So let's see how this goes. Yeah, thank you so much for everybody for the support in the chat as well. I really appreciate it. Always happy to be here. Let's see what else is on my side chart. You know what?
Holy cow.
XPEV is actually here as well. Like I said,
how was that Apple move?
I've been narrowing, zooming in, focusing in on some of these EVs. And honestly, XPEV, if you want a range, I'm down. I think we have sort of a base here at 720 up into 726. If you take this with a decent enough size, I think XPEV could be a vehicle that I could step into today. And I do mean that, of course, very punishly, because it is, trading vehicle, but also it is a car. So let's see how we do. XPEV, yeah, it's so different when you're doing this live. I have to say, this has been really fun. So let's see how this goes. Thank you very much, Michael Moore Biding. I guess it's salmon season in addition to small cap season to wear the salmon pink today. So let's see how this goes. Very, very excited and curious to make some trades today. Let's see what else is happening here too. Like I said, I'm not going to be trading any of these mega caps, at least not at first and not for the foreseeable future. But Tesla does have a derivative, TSLL. Tesla getting a little rangy with it. We do, as I said, I like that base here on TSLA. It's about 165.20 to 165. When is this? 166. So I think that range is certainly enticing to me. I think on TSLL, it's going to be different. It's about 709 to 715. So I'm trying to play that on the derivative, but I think this Tesla is really nice. I don't know why I've zeroed in on these EVs, but hey, don't knock it unless you try it, I guess. Rent the Runway turning up a little bit as well. This is another stock that is within my comfort zone movement-wise. So let's see how this Rent does. I do not love the spread. I'm not a fan of the 20-penny spread. But TSL, I think Rent has a bit of a support here at that previous area of resistance at that 16 level. So this is an area I will be watching as well, and it might make it onto my side charts.
I like it. I like how that's like the standard, that you and I have set.
Yeah.
You are a good boy. You might make it onto the side charts. Behave yourself.
Yep.
In AAPL, I looked over the Katina, man, and I'm like, what is going on with AAP? He's like, I have no idea, man, but I'm in it and I haven't gotten out. So I waited until the dip into the volume weighted average price. I'm talking about AAPL, because we went all the way up into 176 and 2/3. Exactly the HOD on the day is 176.63. And then we Christmas tree retraced all the way back down into 175. Lo and behold, the volume weighted average price on my side 5-minute chart here is hanging out at 175.07. So I put my line in the sand. I went long at 15s. I said, look, this breaks 75 with the viciousness, with the vigor, with the intensity, with whatever descriptive word you want to use. I'm going to get out. I'm going to have that line in the sand. I want to see a bounce off the volume weighted average price. A lot of, conflicting data coming in here for Apple. Oh, they're AI bound, finally. We got wind last week. Great, check mark, pops up. Oh, their sales are crap. Back down again we go. So a lot of, multiple different headwinds and tailwinds both at the same time here for AAPL. So you can definitely understand some of this price action that we've been getting in lately. So we'll see if we can hold up above 175 or thereabouts at the volume weighted average price. So I haven't looked at anything large cap related, just yet, but Apple will be the first one. The other one, multiple trades off MSFT, Microsoft last week. Not at this level, not at 422, but at 420. How many times did we take that dip trade last week at 420? It was Wednesday, and I believe again on Friday, we were taking those trades on MSFT, and right back down we go into that key area of support. This white horizontal line, that's not a line out of nowhere. That 422 is Friday's closing print. And look how many wick shimmies we're getting from the north side of that 422. However, it's been one symphony of lower highs with that flat bottom. So the bottom could come off at any time at that 422 level, and we could see a big boy huadunk into that 420 support level that we had from last week. Keep your eye on that on Softy. Keeps rejecting from the high side at the 10-period moving average. So Softy awfully weak on the day. TSLA, obviously you saw this one tank right at the opening there. They're looking to lay off about 10% of their workforce or so, it's being reported. You know, it really is a mixed bag about how the market receives that. Sometimes it's received well and the stock pops. Sometimes it's looked at as if that's more indicative of larger company weakness. It looks as if the market's interpreting it in that way today because we dipped in from that closing print of 171 on Friday into that 164.40 low that we put in at 11.05. Trying to curl back up now, still well below the volume weighted average price, which is hanging out at 166.25. We're still south of 166. So keeping an eye on these names. Obviously, NVIDIA, there was bamboozlement there too. We close off Friday at $881. We we pop, a V-shaped pop, an A-shaped pop into 906, breaking it, and then right back down we go into that print that we closed out on Friday, sub 890 right now. We're trading at 885 on NVDA. Again, I'm gonna mention this for anybody who's interested in trading NVIDIA, but doesn't want to necessarily ante up the $885 a share that it costs. There's NVDL, NVDS, and NVDX. I trade NVDL. It's like 38 some odd bucks, and it helps manage risk a little bit better there.
Yeah, right now we did get out of Rivian. I had, like I said, my stops and I are not besties still, so that's one thing I am still working on figuring out with regards to trigger prices. But we did get out. We exited the vehicle, and it was not like a Jason Bourne car and fire type situation. We just stepped out, and it went pretty well. So, yeah, I got it a little bit early, but we did. I had that line drawn. I had a literal line drawn as well, and we stepped over the line, and I got out. So I have to say, I'm pretty proud of how I executed my first live trade, even though it was an L. So, but as 21 Savage says, taking less L's and making more M's. In the live, I will still be making 21 Savage jokes, I guess. Here we go. Some things do not change. But yeah, so I am keeping Rivian on my side chart. If we keep failing this level, I do like this little wick to the upside where we have sellers saying, so, you know, Rivian, if you want to keep doing this, I will get back involved at a better price, which would be, to me, this 58, 59 area. So I don't mind this at all. I just had to get out for myself and for my sanity. So yeah, pretty proud of this trade so far. Well, I've one trade, so, you know, but let's see what happens. XPEV still a little bit rangy for me. This would, I think, for me also be a short. Look at, XPEV, Xpeng, what are you doing here? Look at this, we have this, we come up to that previous support of 724. Now we're trying to breach it again. I don't mind this at all. You know what, we're gonna do, I think 725. Might be an area here for us. I like this. I'm gonna keep this on my side chart and in my heart until I have a clearer idea of what I want to do here. Tesla, I think, is breaking out a little bit too much for me right now. But if we get rangy, I'm always involved. Call me Walker, Texas Ranger. I like a range trade. So let's see what happens here. I am absolutely intrigued. This is something I'm interested in, and we're going to set our. We're going to get involved here if we get to 25s. Oh, I must have said that wrong. Oh yeah, 775. That's why. Okay. This is why I like that little red. The red line tells you exactly where you put your order because I accidentally did a typo.
You
and
didn't
the red
have that
line
on
was
your
like,
sim? No, I always have that.
No.
See, look at my aqua line. See, that's
I
an
noticed
old
that.
dip trade on Apple.
I love that.
Speaking of Apple, right back up we go off the volume weighted average price. So that was a nice technical level respect by AAPL. Nicely in the money on this one, about 30 pennies in the money or whatever it is at the moment. Again, I still have no idea what the hell happened here. 11 o'clock, Apple just started pumping up from 174.80 into 176.63, and then right back down we went. But look at this, the white line, you guys know the white line on the black charts is volume weighted average price. It didn't even break below that on the wick. Forget about the closing print. We didn't even print below it on the wick. I'm not saying that Tesla's going back to 176, but I'm saying it respected a technical level. And what we always say, you know, you got the 10 period, Sharif, you have the 20 period, the 50 and the 200, and you have VWAP. What are you using? Well, my response to that is, what's it respecting on the day? What is it holding up at? What is it rejecting off? And what is it just going through like it's not even there? If it's going through like it's not even there, I'm unlikely to use it, right? And why would you? Here comes the $0.50. There goes the $0.50 on AAPL. Let's see if we can make it back up maybe into the whole dollar. Right now we're finding resistance, not surprised, at the whole dollar there. Hootie, what's up? 99 penny super chat. Thank you very much, my man. Shout out to you. No message attached, but there's a big smiley face with $ eyes. So I wonder if they printed on that.
I think maybe they did.
I'm willing to bet that they did it.
And if they did, congrats to them.
Yes.
And also, we love the money, the dollar. That's a great emoji. It's a very fun emoji. You know, we have like the money, money, money. We have all of those fun signs there. Also, did you see the skip 8?
I did. I wanted to, man. That's why I was giggling,
figured.
right? The skips 8. Sharif's charts looked like the guts of an electrical box. You would not be the first person to say that, my friend. Shout out to you. What can I say? It's organized chaos. I got it. I know what's going on. And that's why I try to tell you guys. This line means this. This line means that. If you guys have been watching the show enough, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Shout out to Paula Beckford. Sharif, what time frame are you on? Nook. If I'm on my black charts, it's always going to be the 5 unless I say otherwise. If I'm on my white charts, it's always going to be the 1 unless I say otherwise. So black charts are always 5. The white charts, like these ones right here, Ram, these are all 5 minute, always. And then on these ones, the trading screen will be 1 minute. So I hope that helps, Paula. All right, what else we got going on here? We're still doing the dance with no pants right now with the $0.50 level on AAPL. We wet our beak there on some profits at the $0.33 of a dollar. Gonna let this bad boy run and see exactly what we get. Oh, I'm gonna get trolled, aren't I, now, because Arsenal lost on the weekend. Oh, here we go. Puya, let's go Real Madrid. Boo. No, I have no problem with Madrid, obviously. Madrid, you know, I'm agnostic to what Madrid does, but obviously they're a good team. There's no question about it. Madridista. Hey, what's up, Chile Nightmare? Fabian doing his thing on the 1s and 2s there. There he is. Hey. Fabian doing his, hello. That's
a really meta shot. Mm-hmm. He's like taking photos.
It's very Fabian too, because he's always, you know, out and about. Like, you guys don't know, the Chile Nightmare's like always doing something back there. There's always something going on back there.
It's a lucid nightmare. It's not, yeah, we're always moving around there. But yeah, not my best pod, but it's all good. We are like 1 or 2 cents in the money on Rivian, so I am pleased as punch. Xpeng still trucking up to that 725 area that I want. But Willis Addison here with a $2 super chat. Thank you very much, Willis Addison. Grateful for a hand emoji. Had Tesla swing puts and got SPY 515 puts. Congrats to you, Willis Addison. Thank you very much for your support. Let's look at the SPY. Let's spy the SPY over here and see how it's shaken. 515 puts. You are well in the money there, Willis Addison. Congratulations to you. 515 around over here, around the top of this little consolidation area, and then swoop to the downside. So I'm sure Willis Addison is partying, spinning the money, all that good stuff. Congrats to you, and thank you very much for your support and for the super chat. But yeah, certainly I'm sure a celebration is in order there. So congrats to you. Yeah, right now I'm just in the Rivian chilling. Someone was mentioning that DXYZ, which has been a bit of the, oh, someone's excited though.
Look at Apple. Look at Apple. We're on our way to 176, Adara. 175.86. There it is. Katina Man. Hit it, Katina Man. The Katina Man is long 174. Okay? So that you see where that is. That's there it is. We're almost $2 in the money. By we, I mean Sean. $2 in the money on that one. We're still about 60 some odd pennies in the money on this one. But I'm looking for a near 176 out. Let's see if AAPL can go green on the day. Still red, let's be real. It's down 0.46 on the day, and it has a bad catalyst. So weak iPhone sales ain't gonna cut it, right? I mean, especially when the majority of your revenue is based on iPhone sales. All right, let's talk about TSLA here, Adara, because it did break the volume weighted average price. And just before I go on, you are trading
LL,
double L.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because we talk about the NVIDIA derivative. There's also a Tesla derivative.
Yeah.
TSLL. You don't want to pony up 166 bucks or thereabouts where Tesla's trading at the moment. You can go and have a look at its younger cousin, TSLL, another derivative of Tesla. But make sure, you know, before you're getting and you're punching into that willy-nilly, have a look to see what the confluence is between them. How much does TSLA need to move to get a corresponding move on TSLL? It behooves you to do that. It behooves you to do that on NVDL if you're going to trade NVDA as well. Just make sure you know what's going on there. So yeah, we're going to keep a look here on Tesla. Now, what I want to see on Tesla is this a fake and break, right? You fake the break through VWAP, and then we dip right back down only to trap the longs above the volume-weighted average price. Now, what are the levels on Tesla that I'm looking at? Well, first and foremost, I want to see if we can make it back into that low end of the range there, the pre-market, around 168.50, right? So that's about $2 from where we're at. If we make it into that level, that'll be interesting to see if we break it. Now, to go green on the day, we got to break above 171. I think we're still a ways from that, but you never put anything really past Tesla at this point. So nice move up for TSLA, and nice move down for AAPL as it rejects that 90 penny area and right back into the 50s we go.
Yeah, so I think certainly not. Yeah, what a market. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm still, I have to say, getting a little bit used to being live, but I'm in 2 trades right now. And I have to say, feeling okay. Rivian right now, I'm watching what we do at 60s. We got to 60s, we rejected pretty viciously, so I stayed in the trade. Right now, at this point, if we could take about 53s, 54s, I'd be pleased as punch. I know that's not a super ambitious trade, but I'm still trying to get used to taking profits, getting in and getting out. So that's what's happening right now in RIVN. We may be moving back upwards, which of course would not have me super happy, but that's what we're doing. I also right now have a trade though in XPeng. So let's talk about that as well. I'm in 2 EV stocks. So XPeng, this is a very calculated trade here. As you can see, I'll just remove this line because my order is kind of showing that. So I'm adding to this position if we get to 28s, because that was kind of the top of that range earlier. If we break above 30, which happens to coincide with VWAP, that's when I will be exiting the vehicle with the viciousness. So that's what I have going on here in XPeng. Bless you. And that will be kind of what the goal is. Rivian, though, I think is probably reversing to the upside. So if we touch 60s and break above again, cutting that short, that I will be getting out of that stock for sure. But yeah, I like this XPeng right now, no complaints. TSLL, though, as Sharif alluded to, is one that I will be trading if I trade Tesla. I like this at VWAP. I got excited there. I scriddled back, but I like this at VWAP. We have this, attempt to break into VWAP, and then we look like we might be scurrying back to the downside. I want to see this 5-minute candle close before I make a decision there. And I want to, of course, cross-reference its older cousin Tesla and see what it's saying. As Sharif was also mentioning, which I think is really key. Seeing how TSLA is doing before you accidentally take an L in TSLL, because no, you don't want that. How is it going with the Apple?
Good. It's doing the dance a little bit in 60, a little bit in 50. I want to shout out Big Kyle Burdett. Hope you feel better, my man. My man's suffering a little bit there under the weather. So we want to shout out Big Kyle. Hopefully you get better soon, brother. And Kyle sent me a whole bunch of pictures on the weekend, man. Ooh. Let me tell you, this man can fish. This man can fish. And the thing is, he sent me a whole bunch of pictures of the fish. And like I don't know if he organized it like this, but the fish kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger until like they were as big as Big Kyle. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, I think it has to be on purpose.
No, yeah, I figured he did because like they started off pretty small and they're just like, yo, Kyle, bro, jeez.
Like scaling into a trade, scaling into the fish side.
Right, there you go. So shout out to Big Kyle. Hope you feel better, brother. Let's talk about Bitcoin because Zed. I tried to tag you, Zed, but it wouldn't let me tag you there. So let me have a look at BTC, and then maybe we'll look at some Bitcoin derivatives for Mr. Z over there, or Zed, depending on whether you're Canadian or American. All right, so Bitcoin on the day. Let's switch to the 15 so we get a bit of a wider view. BTC's closing print. What's going on, computer? 64,190. Look, the bottom end of the range that I like better than the current range we're at right now is got to be a little around 64,000. Look at all the action we've had at 64,000 there. That takes us into the morning. We hold 64,000. We don't hold it strictly. We hold it in general. Now, obviously, there was a range between 63 as well. We make higher highs and higher lows. We end up rejecting. Is this VWAP? Let me just double check. No, that's the 200 EMA. So we have to change the color on this one. We need to change it to blue.
I love your like little color wheel you have there to choose.
Well, apparently it looks like the guts of an electrical output, according to one of the viewers.
You have to make sure you cut the right wire.
Right? I like that. But in no seriousness, no. We reject off the 200 period moving average on BTC. That was around 68,800, almost 67,000. You could make the argument it was a 67,000 rejection. But what I do like about this Z is that we come back and we use that level of support, 64,000 yet again. So I like that dip trade here. Look, I need to see higher highs and higher lows. Right now, we're kind of getting a little bit of a higher low. Based upon where the trough was this morning, but we kind of broke our higher high pattern there by rejecting off the 200 period on the 15. So I don't really have a great read on BTC today. Let me tell you the truth. That is until breaks out of this area here, about a $4,000, $3,000 area, 67,000 to the top, looks like 64 to the bottom. So yeah, tougher look on BTC. We'll keep eyes and see if anything else is going on. Richardson, 599 euro super chat. Take your money and run. Adara is coming to take it all. Congrats to going live. Good luck to everyone, and keep on being this great community. Yeah, and keep.
Well, thank you very much, Richardson. I really appreciate that. I don't know if everyone needs to go screw with their money yet. We've had just 2 losing trades in Rivian, but I'm really happy I left Rivian where I did and stuck to my guns because, look, we popped up here with a viciousness at Rivian, and I'm very happy I was not there for that trip in the R2, let me tell you. So I'm proud of, I feel like the instincts are getting a little bit more defined when you have the real money on the line, you know what I mean? You have to be like kind of an apex predator in these markets, like a little cheetah or a cougar or something, or a jaguar, and just know when to hold them, know when to fold them. And so I think that instinct is getting a little bit more heightened, a little bit more honed in, a little bit sharper. So happy to see it. Right now, Xpeng, if you want to do anything, just let me know, because right now what Xpeng wants to do is this. We're about a penny in the money, so I'm not going to go get too mad at it, but very much skirting this 90 EMA in a way that makes me think we might be reversing long. I have plans to add, just a dash of shares here at 728, and then get out entirely for break above 730. And then, of course, I want to start taking some profits at 720. So I have no problem with these risk parameters. I'm pleased as punch about it. I'd be more pleased if Xpeng wanted to do anything in either direction, because right now I'm just kind of waiting for it to make up its mind. It does not know what it wants to be when it grows up. And if it decides what it wants to be when it grows up, I'd be pleased as punch. Some people in the chat were mentioning Tesla long, and yeah, my TSLA is certainly something I'm watching. I want to see what we do at VWAP because TSLL and TSLA, as Sharif was hinting at, they're not always going to be exactly in tune. Right now, TSLL just ducking below VWAP, whereas TSLA has already peaked its little head above VWAP. So to me, that's the biggest difference between the two. Pattern-wise, though, if you look at these candles, they're almost identical. It's really only the position of VWAP, to me, that makes a huge difference between them. I want to study them for a little bit longer. But I do think a potential long off the 9 EMA here on TSLA is not out of the cards. I think it needs to be going on my side chart. It might replace Rivian, unless Rivian rejects at that 868, in which case I want to take that short. So maybe I need to make a new side chart to let my friend Stressla have a place at the table. So let's see how this goes. Or I guess I can't call it Stressla. I can call it Stressel because it has an extra L. So it's not because Tesla and Stressla, I guess it's Stressel. So I think Stressel will be maybe having a place at the table. Rivian, though,
I like it. Trying to
reject off this area I drew, which is that previous support. So Rivian, I might be taking another stab at this one. I don't want to get too involved here, but that's certainly something I have my little eyeballs on. So Rivian, Stressel, and next thing. How are you doing?
Not bad. I'm looking at KAVL because everyone keeps yelling about Cavill. This thing is rocketing up, guys. We're doing the dance right now with $9. It's up 236%. Beautiful top breakthrough, $8 there. You had a bit of an accumulation around 780, comes back down to 680-ish, a volume weighted average price or thereabouts, and then boom goes the dynamite. But be careful with this, guys. It is awfully spready. Oh, not spready. It's awfully volatile. It's a good spread for a $9 name. You know, 4 pennies at the widest. Typically, though, it's about 2 or 3 pennies at any one time. I just want to remind you that the float on this is 843,000 shares. It's a lot smaller than what is typically normal, and that usually means there is less of a supply to go around. When there's less of a supply of shares, it increases the volatility substantially, okay? And that's what the hallmark of a low floater is. Adam wants to he's like, we need to get her that coffee, my guy. Ram, Adam wants to know if I got you that $10 coffee from Starbucks. I'm like, maybe today would be a good day because she's in a bit of a mood.
Is
she? She was getting chirpy with me in the back. Oh, yeah.
I did not notice the chirping.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I'm living in a different world.
Oh, yeah. Ram will let you know, bro. So shout out to the Ram. Jay Lee, KAVL gonna Hwadun card. Yeah, well, that's kind of the hallmark of these small cap gappers, Jay. They're around for a good time, not a long time. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's look at the weed that you were talking about, Jay. Jay was talking about CGC. Let's have a look at that bad boy. What is weed up to today? Let me look at my weed watch list over here. And everything in the red except Cron. Cron is up 1%. Everything else marginally red with CGC the worst off. 6.4%. Look at the 5. Yeah, so it's a bit of a gap down for CGC here. Let's see if there's any catalyst-driven headlines. What's going on with Canopy Growth? Here it is. The company on Monday announced the results of its special meeting of shareholders. Canopy Growth announced its shareholders approved the creation of a new class of Canopy Growth stock at its special meeting of shareholders on Friday. 95.56% of the votes cast were in favor of the proposal. So they're going to add, there's going to be an offering here. So, and that typically means a bit of a down move. Okay, and there goes my headset again, dead again. So you're going to have to talk to Adara, I guess, on the headset guys, production team. So CGC, any technical levels here it's holding? Let's have a look. So we haven't been this low late, but yeah, it seems to be holding above 7. Let's zoom out a little bit more. Go to the hourly. Anything we can see here on the hourly? Any support at 7 that I need to be aware of? Not really. So the support level here is going to be anywhere around $6, owing to what we did on March 26th, or that $4.50 level, based upon the flat top that we put there mid-March, mid to late March there, March 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So yeah, I don't have anything on CGC, but it is looking like a rounded top, and you know, we typically do sell these roundy tops as it is. It looks like it's cresting out there at the top. MNDR, this is the other small cap gapper that we talked about with KAVL. I've still got a dip trade around 18 to defend this, but it's not coming back down. The best it could do is at 18.5, and then right back up into 19.5, up 30.5%. So MNDR awfully strong on there. Dan the Man Emmons. NQ. I was just about to message you, Dan, because we've been kind of doing the wick shimmy dance with 18.2. Says downside expansion targets, 18.155, 18.135, 18.105, and 17.999. I'm short from 18.270s, and then he relists the targets that he has there. Shout out to Dan. Hope you print on that. Dan was just about to message you owing to the 18.2 rejections that we're doing here on the futures. Let's bring that in and look at the futures. So here's the NQ June contract. Big move there from the 7:15 time slot where we kind of crested out 18.350, and it's been unabated to the downside there with holding up just above 18.150. Technically, the overnight low 18.146, but we didn't make it that low this morning. That was much earlier. Above 18.2 we got ever so briefly, 18.221, right back down we go. We give up the ghost at that level, so we'll see if we could do the wick shimmy dance from south side of 18.2 all morning, or whether we're able to reclaim this 18.177. That is Friday's closing print, and we are still just marginally above that, so we are technically green on the day, but in all intents and purposes, really, we are flat on the day. Let's go ahead and have a look at the trade that we're actually in, which is AAPL. Right back up into the 60s we go, so we don't make a newer low. We don't come back and test the volume weighted average price. We actually make a higher low here at 17.25, 17.33. So we'll see if we're able to make a new high. That will have to be above 175.90 a dare.
Yeah, I mean, I got involved in Stressel. As someone pointed out as well, there's also a Stressus because there's TSLS, which is the short ETF. Although this one is actually, the volume on this is not as good. It's about 755,000, whereas TSLL is at a whopping 11 million, almost 12 million shares here. So the reason I went long here, I want to explain. I know we're below VWAP, but I was like, Adara, we're kind of dancing at this 90 MA nicely. We're going to give this about 3 pennies. That 715 was a massive resistance area earlier. So I want to see what we do there. If we break above that, or yeah, if we break below that, I'm getting out. If we stay above that, I'm staying in. You can tell I'm short a lot because I just said if we break above that, but this is a long. I want to get out at, we're going to give this about 5 pennies. I switched all my keys around to avoid some fat finger situations, so I'm still getting used to the new Pamp It indeed for Tesla. Xpeng, you can damp it. Don't listen to Xpeng. But yeah, Tesla, if you want to pamp, or Tesla, Dressel, I don't know. Please pamp, much appreciated. So there we go. That is my little yellow. I should change that to a red, but right, yeah, I'll change that color of that so you can guys see it a little bit better. There we go. Sell, order, red. There we go.
Ram.
But yeah, great times. I'm just here in this market and really excited to be able to trade live for everybody. A little bit different. I'm not doing the, the mega cap. So we have this very maroon sell order ready here. If we can get 5 pennies on this, I would be pleased as punch. Xpeng basically flat, no complaints. But if it wants to damp, you can damp. I'd be okay with that. Xpeng, just if you overhear that and happen to enjoy that. Also, we have a super chat.
Hold on. Oh, we did. We do. No. It's more important. T-Rob. What's up, T-Rob? $2 super chat. Fisker, FSRN, Ram. Let's go, Ram. Are you trading Fisker on the OTC networks? That's where it is right now. It's up a cool, Adara, 38.33% on the network. Okay, I'm going to take profits here on Apple as it broke through 176. Bang! That was almost $1 winner. That's 85 pennies. I'm happy with that. On AAPL, we take that bad boy off the volume weighted average price, beak-wetter. Please this punch for this trade, especially that I packed my patience. So I'm happy with this AAPL trade. But let's have a look now at FSRN for our friend T-Rob. You know what it reminds me of? I'm going to say something about Seinfeld, right? Mm-hmm. So George, so desperate is he to be, accepted by his coworkers, he concocts this plan to have a nickname. And he wants to develop a nickname that he thinks people will like, okay. Something that, masculine and good. So he comes up with the name T-Bone, right? So he starts like doing like an inception thing, like inserting in people's head that he's T-Bone, and then his boss ends up calling one of his other people T-Bone. And so when I saw T-Rob,
you thought of that.
Remind me of T-Bone.
That's pretty funny.
Right, so yeah, shout out to all my Seinfeld heads out there. Let's have a look though at FSRN. FSRN on the pink sheets, the dreaded pink sheets. 1 minute, let's have a look. Okay, so nice pump up there. Ooh. Look, the pinks start trading at 9 a.m., so I don't have pre-market action on these bad boys. So everything that we're seeing here is actual prints, not pre-market prints. Up and to the right is what I see here on FSRN. How much shares? Okay, so guys, it's a 3 penny stock. Okay, 3 1/4 penny right now. It's done almost 50 million shares on the day, which looks like a lot, but when you account for the price of the stock, it's not really that much. Topping out for whatever reason at 34 pennies, can't break, 3.4 pennies, excuse me, can't break through that 3.4 penny area, but it is finding support at 3.2 pennies. It did have a bit of a consolidation top there, and then you can see that there is a buyer right there because it's not printing anything lower than 321. 0.0321. Okay, so there's a buyer in and around there. Make sure you are looking at the book thoroughly if you're going to trade this stock. And the reason is you want to see where the positions are now. There could be hidden buyers and sellers, obviously, but you need to make sure the book jives with this, with what you see on the price action there. Volume weighted average price just below 3 pennies, but above 2.95. It hasn't touched the volume weighted average price since basically opening up. Since around 950 or so. So we'll have to wait and see if it retraces, but good look for it on the day. Just make sure that you are managing risk with this one because it's got a history of giving up the ghost. So FSR, good move up there. Let's look at TSLA because I've been watching this one. I wanted to see what Tesla did. And here it is. It moved up nicely into 167, so broke above the volume weighted average price. I thought we were going to hold up here because last time into VWAP, we did find a rejection. Now we're breaking, so we break above VWAP and then we come right down below it like we don't even use it for support. So let's look for 166. It could be the whole dollar level here that's playing, that's featuring in. We know 167 rejection came in. So maybe we should be looking at the whole dollar levels. Let's see if 166 holds up here on TSLA, but it did do a bit of a retracement off that. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Tesla. Already out of Apple at 176, happy with that. What else is popping off? I don't see much here. Oh, the futures above 18.2 yet again, Adara. So we'll have to wait and see whether we continue to do the wick shimmy dance from the sell side with 18.2, but right now we're printing on the north side.
Yeah, the future's looking bright there with that break above 18.2. Nice look for that for sure. Also, this Tesla, I'm trading the TSLL, but I want to say one area I would absolutely watch. I'm going to check to see what the comparative area is for TSLA. Look at this the resistance we had earlier at this 166 area. I think what we do at 166 could be interesting. That's what I'm using on my TSLL for my trade. So I like, though, that we bounced off. I was watching 715s. We bounced off 715s. So I stay in the Cybertruck, my feet firmly planted on the gas pedal, trying to push this one to the upside. But yeah, I see what you mean. It's really bamboozling how this dude broke below VWAP. Kind of disrespectful.
I forgot you were in TSLL. Yeah. What is it doing? What's your read on this?
My read on this is look at this resistance we had earlier at 715. Look where we bounced off of.
So is that what?
It's 166.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. Yeah. That makes absolute sense. So it is respecting the kind of ish the whole dollar. Is that 726 167 or thereabouts?
Yeah, so I think that's 726. Let's find out. So 726, let's see.
Or where did that top out?
We topped it at 724.
Yeah, okay,
that looks about the same as 167.
Yeah,
These candles are pretty comparable.
Interesting.
I like this. We're translating the derivatives. This is very fun.
Well, yeah, because I personally would feel comfortable playing the 714 level. You know what I mean? I'd want to know.
That's what I use that as my. I just think, honestly, oddly enough, I think you can see the top a bit clearly, more clearly on the TSLL.
I'd have to agree.
But I think it is this comparable with the TSLA, which is why I wanted to use it. Also, Trader TV Live, aka Ramin, getting involved in the chat. I don't have to lose, of course you can, but we have to hurt Sharif's pockets. That's the bet. So,
wow.
Bless you, Fabian. Ramin up here in the chat. Also, yeah, if TSLA doesn't bounce here, I'm getting out. But also, Mahmoud asking for my view on NVIDIA. I'm not trading NVIDIA right now because I am sticking to my little baby caps as I get involved in live trading. But my view on NVIDIA is it looks like we're stepping to the upside a little bit. I find this interesting, though, and I do want to point it out. This 891 is a bit of a tricky area. Let me point out why. Earlier, we had this little area in the pre-market. This is 820. Another time at what was this? About 7:45 to get the same area. NVIDIA and this 891 area are doing a thing, 21. I don't know what it is, but it's something. Look, we pop out here from this 889 to 891. That's a topping tail candle. We break to the downside. We don't make a lower low. We come back. Guess where we're showing another resistance?
Where?
That's right, 891. 891 in NVIDIA, I would absolutely watch that area like a hawk. That's my take on that. I hope that makes some modicum of sense. We are getting out of this Tesla because
Did you say modicum?
Modicum, yeah. Thank you.
That was so anticlimactic because we couldn't hear the actual music. Right? I don't know. You tell me, production team. Right?
But yeah, so my view on NVIDIA, Mahmoud, if that makes sense. My view on NVIDIA for Mahmoud is 891 could be an area. I think we've seen it come up enough times that I think it's worth a look. There you go.
I want to shout out Pretty Panda because they astutely pointed out that the weed names are starting to curl up here as a group. So let's have a look. So what we're looking at now is CGC. We looked at this possible double bottom that took place at 715, 720. It's a skewed extra bullish double bottom because the right side of the double bottom higher than the left. Let's look for that 745 break and take or even that 750, but definitely there is something afoot here with weed. Same thing with Aurora Cannabis coming off the bottom there. ACB going green on the day now, breaking $6.60. That was Friday's closing print. On the way up, it's printing 667. There's others as well. Tilray just went green as well. It's not the big mover that maybe we all want it to be, but there is obviously a top here at $1.84 on Tilray, but now it is also green, 0.82. Cron, which was the only one that was green when I looked earlier, is now up over 2%. So weed curling up here for whatever reason, I don't know why, but the names as a whole, as a group, a lot of them still red, but definitely curling up here at the moment. Let's have a look at some of the ETFs. MSauce, it's curling up as well, looking to go green. To go green has got to break above 892. It's printing 888 right now. MSOX, the triple levered ETF, or is it double? 2 times levered, excuse me. ETF, the weed ETF, about to go green as well. It's printing 477. To go green has got to go 481. So weed all curling up here, but not the big move up that, you know, we would maybe want, I guess. But yeah, something afoot here with the marijuana names. They're starting to go a little bit, but still kind of half red, half green right now. Now we got out of APL at 176.05. It's right back up into 176.07 or so. I'm looking for a rejection at 176.5. That's where we got up to last time. But the thing is about this one, now we're putting in these higher lows. So now we have a discernible pattern here off which to work with Apple, and that is a series of higher low, higher low, higher low, right? The higher highs are a little bit bamboozling because sometimes, you know, they do something like this, and then they're more, and then some other times they're more stable with their ascents like these ones. So be careful with your entries. Try to get an entry on a dip trade on Apple. That would be my suggestion. It's still negative on the day though, guys. Still down 0.25%. So, you know, we got to break above 176.5 to go green. Last time we were up there, you saw what happened. It was a Christmas tree retracement right back down in a V-shaped way. Is Neil ready? Oh, okay.
Oh. No,
I thought you were looking at me.
I don't know. I was just processing. I also never realized that MSOS is MSauce. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
You can get MSauced. on, yeah, I literally never
Got
noticed.
lost in the sauce, as the one the Canobe always says. Shout out to him. What are you looking at over there? How's that XPEF trade doing?
I'm very proud to say it is my first profitable trade so far.
Oh.
In the life. We're just waiting here for our last peak wetter. I'm really proud of this trade. Very small size. I want to clarify, very small size as I get comfy. And we're a little bit still down from the Rivian and Tesla trades. But yeah, I'm super proud of what I did with this XPeng. If you want to fill though, we're like half a penny away. So XPeng, if you want to finish the job, I'd be pleased as punch. But I have to say, right now, I'm already super happy and super stoked with what I did with this stock. Basically, I'm really happy with where I got in. It was just based off that previous area that we were kind of having a little bit of a range off of. I had the area to get in a little bit more at 728, but XPeng didn't even go near 728. So I was like, okay, do your thing, 21. So really happy with how this trade went. Took out 2/3 of the position at 723s, now waiting for 721s. Of course, is it like, you know, the biggest money trade of all time? No, but I'm really proud of what I did. And I think sometimes perspective can be very key.
Hey.
And yeah, I have to say, pretty pleased with what we did here. I'm a little more displeased though at Tesla, but right now all I'm ready for is Neil's lesson of the day. So let's see how the real deal with Neil, what he has to give us.
The lesson of the day brought to you as always by Real Trading. Get your trading journey started the right way with Real Trading, the only place where you're going to get those best executions and the best platform out there for active traders. You always hear the same thing. You want to buy low, sell high. So it's the easiest and most obvious concept out there. Hey, well, how do you make money? Buy something low and then sell it higher. But you know what? When you're trading, a lot of times, and I've heard this when I was a trainee, what about buy high, sell higher? What about when you're short, sell low and buy back even lower? Sometimes the best trades aren't about the perfect entry. It's just about being in the right direction. And if you get yourself too anchored to getting the perfect price or the best entry, then the reality is you're going to miss out on a lot of trades if you're super concerned with buying the low and selling at the absolute top. Doesn't matter if you're perfect if you're able to find something that works. Perfection is something that people are always chasing, but the reality is you're never going to be perfect. So, you know, buy high, sell higher. What that always boils down to is the trend. But how are you supposed to not get anchored to that open price? Well, I'm going to give you a couple ideas of how I go through it every single day. Every trader's been in that spot where you miss a trade, where you like the stock in one direction and you just don't get it. So I'm going to start with something that was a big miss for me today, and that was Coinbase. And it's only a miss because I don't have a trade on it. I came in overnight. You had Bitcoin down over the weekend. Coinbase had made a good top and a reversal and a pattern down on Friday. And I wanted to short one of two levels on Coinbase. It was set up pretty well. You had a stair step down, 260, the 254 resistance, and then 250 in the afternoon. So I'm thinking I want to short back into the first level if it gives it to me, or the second level off at the open, and then we'll just look for a similar pattern. Now, obviously, it doesn't really push into that 254 that I like. It does push into 250. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened to me here. I had the levels that I like marked off to short. And when I missed this one, I just essentially didn't make any trades on it. And after that fact, you can end up seeing it does stair step down. The short was the right play here, but I completely missed out on it. Well, what can you do when this happens to you? You can completely ignore that perfect entry price and just look for the trend. Once you have a bias, a lot of times, just after that opening rush, look at the actual setup. You don't have to throw out your notes, but just look for a place to join. If I hadn't looked at that stock at all and been anchored to $250, what would I see after the opening rush in the first half an hour? What I'm going to see is, okay, this is 10 o'clock. The range is 245 to 250. All it's done, and if I hadn't looked at 250, I didn't care about it, you essentially have the same bottom as Friday with a similar top as Friday, and then it breaks it down. If I had not even looked at this in the pre-market, what I would be thinking if I was a short trader is, well, if it breaks that support level down, I should just be thinking about shorting back into that previous support. I'm not holding that trade back to 250. I'm not trading off of that big 250 level. I'm just simply saying if the trend is down, there was the range that was from Friday and it put in that same range. If it breaks, I look short off of that level. And if you were to take that short, hey, guess what? It ends up risk to reward in here, out there, a better move than the pop into 250. So the original plan, which would have been in here, gives you a $5 move. You actually got a bigger move, dropping $7 or $8 on that second trade in Coinbase. Now, a lot of times, what will happen in this situation, if you're short here, you'll just hold it back to 250 thinking, well, my out's 250. No. This is a new trade idea. You're not anchoring yourself to the price that you liked before for resistance. In this case, you're finding a way to enter the trade at a later price, later in the move, but you still have to have a respectable stop. Now, I'm using the example of Coinbase that we didn't take, but I'll give you the same example on one that we did take. In this case, Rivian, another I want to short. I wanted to short it back off this level at 925. I missed the original trade. It breaks down. What can you do at that point? After the opening range settles down at 10 o'clock, it pops, shows resistance at 880 at 10 o'clock, short it to the 1080 level, and then hold as it breaks down into the low. This short isn't to here. It's to that opening range. I call it the first 30 minutes. Some people look at 45 minutes. I love that first half an hour. Go back at 10 o'clock. And when you start finding resistance or support at those prices or at those times, then I want to take those trades. The most important thing about entering after a big move and consolidation at 10 o'clock is you do not want to hold all the way back. And I'm going to show you exactly why you can't be holding all the way back to the original level. Because sometimes it's going to get really nasty. So if you look at that 10 o'clock level, sometimes you push into 10 o'clock. I'm going to show you NVIDIA here. This is NVIDIA at 10 o'clock. What does this look like at 10? It was a breakout into Friday and Thursday's highs right at 10 o'clock. Its range was $25 up. Now, if you were going to sit there and say, okay, I'm looking for longs after 10 o'clock, it's breaking out into those highs, let's just go with a long somewhere back into like 895, but I'm just gonna give it all the way back into the low. Instead of having a tight stop, this is an example where you have to adjust. You might have liked the previous close in the morning for a dip buy. That was great. But when you're buying it off the 10 o'clock level, you don't want to be holding it all the way back. It's just too much risk. At that point, you should be okay with taking that long. If it stops out tight under here, fair enough. Because if you got stubborn with it, that 10 o'clock range price ends up turning right back into resistance. So an example of one that doesn't work here on NVIDIA, now the breakout at that price was good, but one that doesn't work on the dip, when you follow the trend to the upside, it's not a big deal. If you hold the VWAP and it loses, it's a small loss relatively speaking, and maybe you can work your way into the reversal. And again, I can't say this enough. If you decide that you are going to join the trend by buying higher and selling even higher, you've still got to have quality risk to reward. The benefit of it when it really starts to work, and I'm going to use an example of the best trending stock to the long side today, when it does continue to work, you might be able to use these levels all day long. Apple at 10 o'clock was putting in higher lows at VWAP. So if you were, like many of us here, looking to be long Apple into Friday support, there's your trade. After 10 o'clock, joining the trend or entering it was just off VWAP here, 174.5. And the best part about it, it was then good at 10:30, not just 10 o'clock. It was still good at 11 o'clock to be doing it. If you step up in front of VWAP here at 11:30, it's the same thing. When you start looking at it this way, I'm not anchored to my original price. I'm not anchored to my original stop out. You can then find yourself in 4, 5, 6 winning trades over the course of a trending day. But again, You've got to be willing to step away from your original key price or key price area that you might have been lining up all night the night before, all weekend maybe, or all pre-market, and be able to make a new trade. I'm like everybody else. I will say, well, I love this price. I'm waiting for that price. Oh, I missed it. It didn't get to my price. But if you're willing after that first half an hour to step up and find another way to join that trend, then there are a lot of gains out there for you. Showed you multiple examples today. Rivian, one that we did have. Apple, that we did have. One that we missed, certainly on Coinbase. So you know you're going to miss trades. You're not always going to get that perfect execution at 9:30. The question that I'm asking you is, what are you going to do after that? Are you just going to sit on your hands when you knew the stock was a short or you knew it was a long and you watch it trend all day? Just because you didn't get the price you wanted, you're not going to trade it? You can't trade like that. So the lesson of the day here is be willing to join that trend, buy high, sell higher, or sell low and buy back even lower. If that's not in your repertoire, then you'll never be a trend trader. So I love the trend. Stick to it. It is your friend. As always, lesson of the day brought to you by Real Trading. Buy high, sell higher.
Usually I do my spiel, eloquent and always, that was hot fire.
Yeah, I don't even, like, we were looking at each other like, this whole time, like, seriously.
Yeah. Shout out to Neil, man. Great lesson of the day. Shout out to the Neil. Guys, while Neil was dropping hot lines, weed started lighting up as well. Yeah, that's right down your alley right there. I did that for your benefit, Adele.
I am happy you did. I feel the benefit, and I appreciate it.
Because that's like your modus operandi there. But I feel like you're having an effect on the way my mind works, because now I'm starting to see these puns. No, but seriously, MSOX going here, guys. MSOS and MSOX were both red when we left you guys about 15 minutes ago. That's since changed. MSOS, the regular ETF up 0.6, the double levered ETF MSOX up 1 2/3, 1.5 now. Again, don't really know what's going on with weed, but midday they all started to curl up here. Nothing like exorbitant or anything like that. They're in positive territory, but something to keep in mind. Shout out to Jay Lee, alerting me to the strength of the marijuana names a little bit earlier on. Now, the other names that we're going to cover, because we're talking about small caps all week, so it behooves us to cover the small caps that are moving on the day, and they go by the tickers KAVL. Look, this one's off the high. It did the dance with no pants near that $10 area, 969. Technically the HOD, but it comes back into that key area of support. I'm so upset I missed this. I should have earmarked that at 7 3/4, and that was owing to this double top that we put over here that we couldn't break. That was $7.75. We dipped down to the volume weighted average price, held up at 675, and then skyrocketed $3 up into 969, only to come back down and to hold that 775 now. Previous resistance, now support, holding it right now. Second green candle in a row on the 5-minute. Let's see if this one can curl right back up into that 969 or even higher. It's up well over 200%. KAVL, guys, sub 1 million float. Be careful with this one. MNDR Ram. This one is the IPO from last week, up and to the dang right all day long. The deepest retracement was a 50-period retracement, a double bottom off 16, and we haven't broken VWAP or the 20-period since that deeper retracement earlier at around 1030, 1035. This one, let me give you the deets on it. I didn't have the deets last week because it was a newer stock. Maybe I'll have it this week, and I do. $702 million market cap. They do telehealth. So I know plenty about telehealth because we have that at our clinics. A company provides its service on whatever platform. I don't know what that platform is. Anything else. So it's just telehealth. So you go into a clinic, you see a doctor vis-a-vis webcam, and there typically is an RN or an RPN on your side of things. Float, 15.8 million share float, small, but not really tiny or anything. This one really got going. Where did IPO at? $4 and just south of $5. Ever since then, though, you can see the IPO's been very well received. It's been positive every single day since it IPO'd. It IPO'd back on the 10th. The 11th, it was positive. The 12th, the 15th, every day it's been positive since that time. And now we're above that $20 level, looking at going into that 21 1/3 HOD right now. It is spready, though, owing, obviously, to the fact that not too many people are trading it. So MNDR looking real good right now. All the other small cap gappers, the other ones that we gave you, ADOL, ONVO, LGVN, they're all trading below the volume weighted average price right now. Not tradable in my book, but have at it if you want. So I'm going to be looking to weasel my way into MNDR near 20 bucks, and I'll be looking to weasel my way possibly into KAVL if it can dip down to 775. But I'm going to tell you, my stop on KAVL is going to have to be a little bit tight here. Ideally, I'd like to give it to the break of VWAP, but VWAP is at 725. So it's going to be hard for me to get into a small cap at 775 and give it 50 pennies. I'm going to have to decide what I'm going to do with this one, because a bit of a tougher, a bit of a wider range than I typically would like there. Anything you look at here before we start second time around the lesson?
Yeah, I'm super happy to say I'm out of XPeng for a profit. Pleased as punch. And yeah, I mean, we could have stayed a little bit longer. We are still seeing lower highs, lower lows, but I achieved what I wanted to, was to take out partway through this range and take out the rest of the bottom of the range around 20s. So pleased as punch. I have to say, I'm happy with what I did with this trade. A little bit less enthused about the other EV name that I got back into, which was Rivian. This one's a little bamboozling. I think he might need to be taken out off the side chart for today, if I'm being really honest. I should have gotten short. I said I wanted to short this area. I was going to wait for 68s. We never got 68s. We went to the downside. I didn't mind this setup because I was like, oh, we actually were holding. As you can see, we kind of did hold this area pretty well for a point, up to a point here of this 860. Then we didn't hold it the way that I necessarily wanted to. So I'm proud. That being said, even though this name has not been working for me, I'm really proud of the trade management I've done with this. We've never lost more than I wanted to. We've always stuck very tightly to the stop areas. So please just punch about that, I have to say. Rivian, though, if you don't bounce off this 855, I am bouncing out of this vehicle. So that's the area I'm looking for, 855, about 5 pennies. So yeah, pretty proud of what I've done so far today. I have to say, nothing like crazy, like money trades, but you know that there's always time for those.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's get to the lesson du jour. We're talking about riding the wave, a lesson on momentum trading. Specifically, we're talking about small caps. So today, we're diving into the exciting world of momentum trading, specifically focusing on small cap stocks. Buckle up, because these trades can be exhilarating, but also require focus and discipline. So for the newer traders, momentum trading, let's just give you a quick, 411. Imagine a surfer catching a perfect wave. Momentum trading is similar. You're trying to identify stocks with a surge in buying pressure, indicated to you by the rising price as well as the rising volume. So you got to have eyes on both price and volume. The goal is to ride the wave up in the case of a long, or down in the case of a short, and take quicker profits than one would maybe have on a larger name. That's not always entirely true, though. So why would you want to trade small caps, rather than some of the large caps, a blue chip name? Well, small cap stocks with their low market cap, which stands for market capitalization, and their lower float, which is basically the float, is the amount of shares that are tradable on the market. They can be more susceptible to momentum swings. There's not as much supply out there, so once people start demanding them, in the case of buying or trying to get rid of them in the case of selling, they can become quite volatile and sometimes even parabolic. Okay? So a positive news catalyst, also a news release or strong earnings report, can cause rapid price increase or decrease compared to the larger, more established companies. So that is another reason why you want them. Again, these stocks are around for a good time, typically, not a long time, because typically the next day they're retracing, or you don't hear too much about them. Maybe they're flat. So how do you identify these waves in small cap trading? So the first thing to do is you're looking for a price breakout. You're looking for stocks that break above key resistance levels like previous highs with a spike in volume. This signifies to you strong buying pressure, right? So when you have that big break through a key resistance level accompanied by above average volume, that is your indicator that something is afoot here typically it is a news catalyst of sorts, whether something new or an earnings report or whatever. Sometimes there'll be a technical breakout, but that is the exception, not the rule. Usually the breakout is accompanied by some sort of catalyst, okay? And you're also keeping an eye on technical indicators, tools like the Relative Strength Index tool, which is colloquially called RSI, can indicate overbought or oversold conditions. We're going to talk more about RSI later in the week in other lessons for small cap trading. But suffice it to say, a reversal in RSI from very high to trending down or very low to trending up might signal to you a momentum shift. So it might help you to have the RSI up there on the chart so you're always seeing it relative to price. And we're going to talk about price RSI divergence. Again, keep that in the back of your mind. We'll be talking about more of it this week. And volume spikes. So you can use RSI, you can use price action, volume equally as important. Watch for these sudden increases in trading volume, especially with stocks with relatively flat price movement. A stock is trading at 10 bucks all afternoon, then all of a sudden the volume bar shoots up compared to all the previous volume bars and the price breaks through 10, something's typically afoot. Obviously it's a lot easier to see it after the fact, see it during the actual breakout a lot harder because there's a zillion stocks out there, right? It's incumbent upon you, though, to investigate the cost to see if the price, again, above 10 bucks or whatever, is as a result of earnings and a midday news catalyst or what the reason is. You just need to know what the reason is. You don't have to be satisfied with the news. Be like, yeah, this is a good news catalyst. No, you just need to see that it's moving on news. All right, and here are some price breakouts. You can see this one is making higher lows with that flat top at 105. So if I had a flat top breakout animation, I would have hit it, but there you go. Third time is the charm here for that 105 level, and it ends up breaking out. So you should have been alerted to the bullishness of this stock vis-a-vis the higher lows and the flat top. We call that an ascending wedge. And then this is an example of the price RSI divergence. The price is continuing to make new highs. You see that vis-a-vis the higher highs, but you don't necessarily see RSI making higher highs. And again, I mentioned this earlier. You saw what the Katina man did there lately on his charts. He's added the RSI to that. He's been commenting about RSI price divergence. And there's a reason for that, because typically when the RSI stops making new highs and the price continues to make new highs, that typically is a leading indicator that the good times for the price may be coming to an end, and it may be time to wet your beak on some profits or get out of the trade entirely, depending on what your situation is. So again, we're going to be talking about this a lot this week. RSI, price divergence, we use it in the small cap trading. All right, so we talked about identifying the wave. Now, how do we catch the wave? In other words, how do we get into the trade? So a couple of rules here that we should iron out first and foremost, with specifically to small caps. Don't jump in the stock that's already skyrocketing. You may get lucky, you may do well, and you may have a better knack of it than others. But as a general rule, if you chase these, you end up getting cupped. Look for a steady rise in price and with sustained high volume, and then determine your entry point, okay? And you can do one of many things. You can look for RSI price divergence, like we just talked about, in order to get in. You could be looking for a retracement into a key area of support. That depends on what you're trading. Could be the 10 EMA, could be VWAP, it could be a whole dollar level. It's all gonna be specific to the stock that you're trading. And make sure you are using a stop loss for your trades in order to potentially limit losses if the momentum fades. And then riding the wave safely, of course. Be patient, number one. Don't fight the trend. If the momentum weakens, exit the trade and wait for a better opportunity. Take profits, wet your beak. Be grateful for the profits that you've gotten so far. Secure some profits along the way, especially if the stock price reaches the target that you've earmarked earlier, and manage risk, guys. Small cap momentum trading is absolutely risky. These stocks are around today. They may not be around tomorrow. Use proper risk management, Adara, techniques like small position sizing or strict stop losses, not general stop losses, in order to protect yourself.
Yeah, we are making new lows of day here on these markets, just a skosh. It's interesting too. Like some of these mega caps didn't even notice it right away because some of them are kind of coming back into previous areas of support. So it's not manifesting. I mean, these candles look pretty sharp, but it is in some ways just kind of potentially a bounce zone, right? So that's why I think we're gonna kind of wait and see what we do here on some of these. And I say that because look at. Like the Qs are a little bit more pronounced. I think we did make this lower low, but it's interesting how a lot of these Mag 7s are just actually kind of just coming to the bottom of the range. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I think this break is kind of manifesting itself in kind of a fascinating way. We have, there's lots of new,
trying to
not
look,
fun
see if there's
news
anything
stuff this whole
geopolitical.
This whole series of time. But yeah, I'm not seeing any specific news on this right now. But yeah, so thank you guys, everyone, for pointing this out. Market making new lows of day. So there's a lot happening right now here. People were definitely fans of the divergent strategy. Apparently, I'm seeing in the chat here. So some nice, some nice moves.
I mean, that's the first thing that Michael, the NOS boss, showed when he came in here last year. He was like, he sat down, and he helped me set up the entire layout for trade ideas, this, that, and the other, and then he gave me a nice little lesson about how to use RSI. Obviously, the kind of the Coles Notes version of RSI is you buy below 30 and you sell above 70. I would say it's not so cut and dry, not so easy. And his version is to look for the difference or change between the patterns on the price and the patterns on the RSI chart. That's really all we're talking about here. RSI price divergence. Gets a bit more nuanced than that, but that should be your starting point. All right, let's get to this market dip right here. First of all, shout out to Dan the Man Emmons. T2 hit on my NQ short. Shout out to you, Dan. If you're looking at what Dan wrote earlier about his chats, about his levels, excuse me, just click his name and then go whatever. I can do it because people may not be able to see it. So Dan's levels were 18,155, 18,135, 18,105, and 17,999. Okay? So keep your eye on those if you're trading futures. Now, I keep my eye on this 175 on AAPL. And the reason is because we had a big boy move into 176 and like a quarter, and then we huadunked with the market right back down into 175 on AAPL. Now, we had a bit of a, you could say, consolidation top from around 9:35 till 11 when we broke finally that 175 on a closing basis on AAPL. So I'm looking to see if 175 wants to act as a level of support, right? We knew it was acting as resistance earlier. And right now, it's really breaking down at but not by much, like 174.95. So I want to see if 175 is going to hold up here as a level of support. You're not going to see me jump into this one. Trigger happy, it's going to have to prove to me that it is going to hold up, and then we'll get it on the back end, curls up to the right maybe here on Apple. So 175, possibly a defend here on AAPL. Look, putting in a bit of a hammer candle or a bit of a doji right now. What's really not holding up, though, number one is the market in general, and every other Mag 7 name other than AAPL is almost at day low, okay? I'm talking about you, Softy. I'm talking about you, Meta and Amazon, as well as Tesla, Google, and NVIDIA. They are all at days low, while Apple is fighting at 175. So there is a difference here between how the other Mag 6 are trading and how Apple is trading on the day. Again, that's likely due to the AI news that we got last week. But it did come off the highs. There's no doubt about that. So the market in a full state of big boy huadunk. And we're going to see if 18.1, which we just got to right now, 18.105 low of day on the NQ June contract. Can we stay above 18.1, or is this going to be an 18,000 kind of day, Adara? Questions to be answered here in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I agree. Like that Apple has been oddly respectful, and you called that short off camera. You were saying to me, you're like, this looks like it could be a short.
It looked like it, didn't it? A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Apple, the only Mag 7 still holding strong here. Very proud of where I got out of this TSLA long. I had this plan. I liked that we were kind of holding at one point that 708. That was the base earlier. And for context with TSLA, that was going to be about that 165.20 area, 165.25. Then I wanted to kind of see what we did at that previous base. We held this beautifully for a time, and then we broke below when I got out. So happy again. We only have the 1 minute trade, which is XPeng. We are negative on the day, and that's just because I have not really been taking a huge share size in any of these trades, so I need to work on getting a little bit more bold in some of my trades. But yeah, I like what I'm doing so far. I also love that range trade you're doing in Apple. Am I wrong, or was that where you got it the first time on Apple at 175?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Let's put. I'm just putting in my stops at the moment. Let's see what we get here. If we can hold up at 175, that would just be aces. Now, I think if we hold up at 175, it's going to have a lot to do with Dara, with whether we hold above 18.1 on the future. I think if we give up 18, we give up the ghost at 18.1, Apple likely will tank. I'm long 01s. Let's see if we can make it back maybe into 50s. We'll see exactly what we get here. If anything, I already put my stop. My stop is going to be the break of the low on this candle. So that is the look there. Did we notice that Intel is quietly up 2.25%? Neil, did you notice this? I don't know if you were involved. Yeah, Neil was in Intel. He was short Intel earlier. Okay, so shout out to Neil. But Intel having itself a day, the strongest of the chip names, at least on my watch list. Let's look up at INTC. Bless you, Neil. See what Intel is up to. It just dipped into VWAP here. So this is an interesting area on Intel. 3640 for whatever reason. Two double bottom 5 minute candles here, retracing up that 3670 that it topped out. That's the high a day on Intel, coming into the volume weighted average price and holding up. Now, Intel, where can we expect resistance if Intel continues to pump? I'm going to say 37. Why? Because 37 was the low end of the range both on Thursday and on Friday. So if we come into 37, I expect rejections. Now, we're going to have to get to 37, which means a high day break, which is at 3670. So that's an interesting look here on INTC, but I didn't expect Intel to be moving counter market. Look, it's up 2.25 on the day. It's up 1 1/3 since the bell. And here is the news. Intel shares are trading higher as some tech stocks gain. Intel dropped last week after China told telecom carriers to phase out foreign chips. Yeah, we saw the big boy drop on AMD and Intel after that directive came out from the Chinese Communist Party. So we'll continue to watch what we get on INTC, but definitely caught my attention. They're up 2.25.
Yeah, the crazy thing too is I was reading about that story last week, and apparently, even though it was only reported last week, it actually came out in 2022. They started saying they're going to phase out these chips by 2027. So it's interesting there, at least from what I read, there seems to be a discrepancy from when the actual story occurred and when it came out. So it's always interesting when the market's reacting like this to news that was over a year old. In reality, we just didn't know about it. So interesting stuff. Also interesting stuff. Shout out to Noah. I noticed the chat from Noah saying $11 calls are printing on SQQs, and I had my eye. I see that, and I mean, I'm looking for like less, expensive stocks to trade. So I saw that. I was like, let's look at the SQQs. I don't know where I'd enter on this, but I have a couple ideas. So for one, and this is honestly like shout out to you, Sharif, and all the small caps, because I know you like to get involved sometimes at like previous areas of support and resistance for these small caps. And with that in mind, not a small cap, but the SQQQs, I do like this 1092 area because that was an area we had a lot of resistance earlier. So that could be an interesting bounce play if we bounce off 1092s. Thank you. The other area I'm eyeing is what we do at 1098s. So we'll have to see. I don't have a game plan for this yet, which is why I'm not involved in anything yet. I apologize. Still looking for some opportunities here. But the other name I'm looking at, and I can't believe I'm saying this because this is usually a stock I would avoid with a 10-foot pole, and its name is Mara. Mara, I am scared of these Bitcoin stocks. I've been, scared's a bad word, but I am very cautious about these Bitcoin stocks because I find, Obi's talked about Mother Market. I find these Bitcoin stocks only respect Mother Bitcoin to the extent of all else, to the exclusion of all else is what I mean. But yeah, so I'm looking at this Mara's chart, similar-ish to what Bitcoin's doing. We have kind of a pop-up in Bitcoin right now, so I want to see. Best case scenario, I play this like 10 penny range, but this is going to be a little bit bolder for me, so I have to see how I'm feeling. But as Sean says, a scared trader is an efficient trader. Adara, be like Nike, just do it. We're going to be getting involved here 65s. It's going to be a short. We're going to take it for 10 pennies. And yes, I am filled with a bit of trepidation, but that's what trading's about. Taking these moments. 18.1.
18.102. We're coming into 18.1 on the market. This is low a day right now on the future. Trouble in Mag 7 world, Adara. That's just the fact the matter is. Everything at lows except META. I want to shout out Neil and Google as well. Neil put in the chat there that Meta made a big jump from that 503 area right back into 505, but it is on the way down. 502.82 for META. Look at that flat bottom break. Oh, man. At 507. Wowie wowzers. I mean, you could even say it was a 508 flat bottom break because we didn't spend too much time here at 507. But Meta on the way down. Pivot point support level 1 is at 502 1/3. So make of that what you will if you end up respecting pivots or not. We wet our beak on Apple on some profits there, but if this breaks the 90 penny area, we're getting out of Dodge on AAPL as it is now below 175. It's below 175 by a penny. You know, if the market keeps printing lower, I don't care AI catalysts or not, Apple's coming down. And there we go. We broke 18.090 LOD, and I saw Dan the Man Emmons pleased as dang punch. Look at him. Let these trades run. Bulls are scared. Expletive right now. Still short. 18.270 NQ. Shout out to the Katina man as well as he's short. Dan goes on to say, and out 2/3 of the trade now at 18.105. Shout out to you, Dan Emmons, taking this bad boy short. I know big Kyle Burdett went from sick with bronchitis and right into full rabid bear froth. Give me all the smoke. The money printer is spinning, baby. We're going to spin the money for big Kyle Burdett. I'm in a good mood today. I'm like doing my whole
You're killing it.
My like, I don't even know what the words are right there. I'm trying too hard here.
But congrats on those trades. Like, you had that great Apple out the first time, and now you're taking the range trade and having a beak wetter. I'm living vicariously through your range trade because I'm not trading Mag 7s right now. So if anyone knows an Apple derivative, let me know because I'd love to get involved in that rangy action there. APL, though it might be breaking down. But yeah, because the second I saw you got it at the exact same price, I was like, Sharif is ranging Apple, and I love it. So
I've been beside you too long now. I'm starting to trade your style.
It's a nice trade, though. It's something I would have gotten. It's like I can trade vicariously through you for that one because I would have gotten involved in that had I not. You know what I mean? But so this Mara range is holding up remarkably.
Okay.
I was not able to get filled, unfortunately, in the short. But now we're trying to get filled on the long side. I might have also missed this opportunity. I need to be a lot faster. I need to be quicker on the draw, and that's one thing I'm going to have to work on in this transition. But I have to say, like I said, I'm proud of what has been done so far in terms of management. So I want to take that as a bit of a W in and of itself, even though the only actual W is going to be our I was going to say PAL, but this is a shocker. XPeng coming in here. Clearly I exited the short too fast, but I was trying to play the range, and I did play the range, so I can't be too pressed about that. Very happy with what I did. If XPeng continues to kind of see this kind of chop and churn to the downside, that's something I might want to play. Right now, though, Mara, I need to be a lot faster with. If I want to take this short, I have to take it short the second it comes into fruition. If I want to take this long, I have to take this long the second it kind of comes into my area of interest, because that's been my issues. I've just not been quick enough on the draw. And I think that's because I'm worried about a reversal. But it's like, if you have a plan for the trade, Adara, just execute that plan. So right now we're going to try, I liked the 65s before. We're going to try 64s here. We're going to take not a huge position because we do not want to get too chopped up in these markets. But I'll take this position size. I want to see what we do at 72s. So we're going to give this about 8 pennies. I'm trying to get about 10 pennies, so I'm okay with that risk to reward. I know mine is a little less like 1 to 2. Mine's a little bit more like mathematical or fractional, my risk to reward ratios. But yeah, we'll take 4/5, 80%. I'm okay with that. But yeah, so here we go. We're trying to get into MARA. Mara, if you would like to let us join you in this marathon, I'd be really happy. I guess it's less of a marathon and more of wind sprints because we're trying to range it. But either way, Marathon Digital Holdings, I would love to trade this stock here. Clean Spark is a lot stronger than Mara, says Dandy Lions. We'll take
like
a look
every
at Clean
day.
Spark. Let's see what kind of spark we're getting here. Oh, I like this. Sorry for pushing back there. That's what I get excited about.
It's a great top resistance flip right there. Yeah, you're looking at the same thing I'm looking at there.
Yeah, because I noticed these because of you when something like this happens. So yeah, I think CLSK is going to be, we're going to try to go for like 39s here. Thank you very much, Dandelions. I I like this. We're going to get involved in this. I want to be very cautious. I'd like to see us break above that 9 EMA, but this chart pattern to me is stronger than Mara. Mara is purely like a range play. This would be a bit more of trying to see what we do if we can break above here. Again, timing might not have been great. CLSK might be sparking up without me, but hopefully you can calm down and wait here because I'd like to get some Bitcoin with you, CLSK. How are you doing over here?
I'm good. The market right back down again, below 18.1. 18.085 new LOD on the NQ June contract. But I'm going to digress a second from the futures in the Mag 7 to talk about some small cap gappers because we are talking about them all week on the lesson. And the one that I specifically want to mention now, MNDR, not your typical small cap gapper that shows up today and is gone tomorrow. This one was at IPO. You can see started trading last week. On what day was that? So that was Wednesday. So that was a Wednesday IPO, opened up at about 4 3/4. It's been positive every day since then with a high today of 21.50. I love this $18 level and I removed my order from it. That is on me. I got up after Neil was dropping hot lines. I said, okay, I'm going to get up in case this fills and tanks. And that's on me. I should have been putting that back in there because it came right back down to 18, defended it, and shot right back up into 1950. So this is a kind of a very obvious technical resistance earlier on at 18 bucks. We give up the ghost at 18. We break through it, and we come back down, and look at that. The low on this candle is literally 18.10. So that's on me. Anyway, pump back up, but let's see if it holds up VWAP, because if it continues to make lower highs, then we could get a flat bottom break through that 18, right? We're not going to stay above 18 forever. MNDR, great look on the day. It's up 26% or thereabouts. Let's see the other one, KAVL. This is the one that everyone was amped up about. This one now on the way back down, looking to possibly come into that 7 1/3. That's where the volume weighted average price is. It is steadily making its way down. The volume is also dropping off here on KAVL. We'll see if this one can continue to defend above the volume weighted average price. I'll look to test it at that level. In fact, I'm going to put in an alert to let me know when KAVL comes into that 7 1/3. It's currently trading at 780 right now. Those are the only two small cappers that I can really trade using my rules. ONVO, not tradable. ADOL, RAM isn't tradable either. Neither is Longeveron. And Reddit, I've got Reddit up there just because we had a catalyst on it today. But obviously, it hasn't been tradable for me. So I'm looking at for KAVL and MNDR. Obviously, I'm in Apple looking for a 175 hold on AAPL. I really do feel that if we give up the ghost bigly at 18.1, Apple breaks 175 with the viciousness. But right now, we're not too far away from 18.1, we're at 18.091. So still a possibility we do reclaim it. Future Eddie, what's good with the market? Good question, brother. It's been a bamboozling couple of weeks. Last week, we get a very hot CPI. The market tanks. So the next day, we get a positive or decent PPI. And Apple news, the market skyrockets. The market ends up selling out on Friday. Gaps up again today, selling off again today. So we're in that zigzaggy phase. We're going to have to deal with it until we get direction again. Noah, $5 super chat. Shout out to Noah. Much love. Grateful for random day off trade. Question. How does the market historically do on U.S. tax day? That's a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that. Question. How high do you think SQQQ will go? God bless. I know you were looking at SQQQ earlier, so I'll throw that question to you. But yeah, that's a really good question, Noah. I've never looked at to see the market how it is on tax day, but that's something I'm sure you can easily go back and look at if you have a chart that goes back a year. So if you find out, let me know.
Yeah, I'm just going to get out of this Mara because I realized going short one crypto name while getting out of the other. No, it's okay. Going short one crypto name while going long the other name is a choice. So I decided not to make that choice anymore. We lost a couple cents on Mara. It was a range plan, didn't end up working out. But yeah, I'd love to look at the SQQQs for you there. Let's see if they are going, you know, in the name of a 2005 film, Sky High. Let's see if we go Sky High with these SQQQs. Shout out to that very good movie. But yeah, so let's see how we're doing here on the SQQQs. I pointed out in 2 areas earlier, and I will continue. I'm going to shout them out again. I think this 1092 is really fascinating in terms of that little resistance area earlier. Resistance can become support. This kind of look was the same impetus for me entering Clean Spark, which I can get to in a moment, but also this 1098 here. I like this little doji, then we continue to the upside. I'm watching what we do. I'll probably start a position at 1098 and maybe add to it 1092, get out 1082. If I get involved, again, this isn't advice, it's just, you know, my take on the chart here, but let me look at the daily to get some better levels for you here, Noah. Thank you very much for your super chat. Ooh, okay. I need to look at this SQQQ more. Like, this is so rangy. Yeah, the SQQQs, I guess, with that bull market we've had as of late, a little bit more downside here for these dudes. But I think what's interesting is there's a lot of chop and churn. And I think on the upside of that chop and churn, recently we've had 1120, right now we're at 1104, so I think that's pretty realistic. 1140 too could be an area if we continue to break to the upside. But yeah, I think this SQQQs right now look really strong. This is kind of the first little baby pullback, let me switch to the 5, that we've seen in quite some time after having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 5-minute green candles in a row. This could be a bit of a bearish engulfing though, not totally, because we do start a little bit below or midway through that green candle, but I'm really curious to see what we do here in the SQQQs. And with that in mind, Jay Lee was asking about going long the TQQQ, so let me pull this up. This is interesting because just as I said, the SQQQs had a skosh of a bullish engulfing or bearish engulfing. To me, the TQQQs have a much clearer bullish engulfing candle. I keep saying the opposite. With a little baby, well, not little baby, but smaller red candle, what looks to be a nice big green candle. I think we have these wicks to the downside here below that 57.80 area saying, hey, we're not playing around. This is some area of support. So I think this TQQQs could be pretty interesting. My one thing though is we still are very much down on the day. It'd be a little bit harder to find profit takers, for me at least, with the TQQQ in this area. Like, to me, I think the SQQQ has set itself up a little bit more clearly than the TQQQ's, Jay Lee, so I hope that helps. I do see what you're seeing, though. We're trying to make some kind of engulfing here. And in the words of Sharif, pamp it.
Pamp it,
also,
baby.
thank you very much to Odyssey Fights. I really appreciate the $5 super chat. First super chat that you've made in a live, so congrats to you and shout out to you saying, Adara LePage, how does your first day of live trading going so far? Honestly, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for asking.
Killing it, 21.
Thank you. Thank you there, sure. But yeah, so I honestly, shout out to Dandelions for pointing out CLSK, because we made 10 pennies on this one, so I'm really proud of what I did with this. And I kind of am noticing some chop and churn, so you know what that means? I'm ready to get back involved, add back to this position here at 1540s. So if I can keep playing this 1540, 50-50 range, you know I will. I love my ranges. I love this kind of setup where you can just kind of add and subtract. We'll be getting out at 1530, so about even risk to reward. I don't have any issues with that, I have to say. So yeah, thank you to Dandelions for pointing this out. Initially, my involvement was with Mara, and I was actually weirdly short Mara and long CLSK, although I guess that doesn't look that weird now because now that actually could have been a valid trade, but that's okay. We're learning every day, and I'm so stoked. So to answer your question in a really long-winded way there, Odyssey Fights, it's been going pretty well so far. I'm pretty proud of what I'm doing. And thank you, Elon, for that chat as well, saying be cautious if you're going long. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think because Bitcoin is a bit of its own entity, that's why that's the only long I have right now, and it'll probably stay the only long I'm comfortable with right now. But thank you very much. I definitely appreciate what you're saying. I think these longs are a little bit no man's land right now, except Apple has been very, he's just chilling out.
The only reason I'm in it, Adara, is because it's clearly, look, it may end up tanking. That's just the fact of the matter. It may end up giving up the ghost at 175, but for the moment, it's not. So I'm going to continue to hang on to it. Guys, the 10-year is up 3%. The 2 years up 1.25, but the one that's really got my attention here is the 10-year. These are the October highs when the market was much, much lower than where it is now. Look at that, 495. We're right back up into 4659, essentially 47 on the 10-year. This is the 10-year yield. not the actual bond itself, okay? And you know how this typically works. Yields go up, equities go down, vice versa. That's not always a hard and fast rule, as we learned last week when we had the market and the yields both take a nosedive. Today, yields in a full state of pamp, and you know, the future is not in a full state of damp, but definitely down on the day. We're down 0.21 on the ES, 0.43 on the NQ. We're flat on the down. We're down 0.86 on the Russell. And it's interesting. What was his name today? Gomez? Steve Gomez?
Steve Gomez.
Yeah, Steve Gomez. He was talking about the IWM. I thought you might have been listening to him,
Oh,
because
yeah,
I know you like to trade the IWM, which is the Russell ETF, guys. Anyway, so wanted to mention that with respect to yields for anybody who wanted that data point. Let's keep an eye on that 10-year as it's inching a lot closer into 3%. This is kind of why I'm still in Apple. It's doing the wick shimmy dance that we usually look at the future. It's doing it with 175. So to me, this action over here and these wicking candles below 175 that all get bought up to print above and close above 175 means to me that somebody on the south side of 175 with a lot of money is buying this stock up at the 175 level, and therefore it's acting as a level of support on the day. Earlier, you could see that it was acting as a level of resistance. We were making it into 175. Sure, we were printing above it, but look where the closing prints were. They were all south of 175. So love how resistance flips to support. So we'll keep an eye on that. The market above 18.1 again, albeit by like very, very small amounts, 18.103. Meta getting a perfunctory bounce off that 502 3/4. Now back into that 504 2/3, 503 area. I'm looking for an interesting short off Meta at 507. Meta makes it back into 507, I want to go short. So I'm putting that alert right now. We're going to put it at 506.75, and we're going to activate that, because if Meta curls back into here, look at this consolidation bottom, 507, 508. You're not going to see me just jump into this. I'm going to have to wait for a rejection and then a curl back down, and then we'll participate in maybe for a 502 touch, but this is definitely something I want to be involved in. And when I woke up this morning and I looked at my my phone, I follow Meta obviously as one of the stocks that I have my eye on every day. It was up like $10 in the pre-market just because it got an upgrade, right?
Not like a weirdly positive note about Reels,
right?
Yeah,
about how it's going to become more monetizable, this, that, and the other. I saw that headline as well, and well, it's given up everything now. So big move down for Meta now, down almost 1.5%, was worse at the lows. Therefore, META. Let's see what Jay Lee's up to. Adara, Sharif, time to go long NVIDIA, NVDL in my humble opinion. Bring it up. We should be at the bottom resistance. We're up a few percentage already. Go long, question mark. Let's have a look at NVDA, which is, which is not NVDL exactly, but as NVDA does, NVDL does. Obviously, their levels are different. Good call there, Jay. A bit of a bottoming tail candle right there. Let's not put too much stock into one candle, but the subsequent 5-minute candle makes a new high. That's one nice little check mark I like to have. Also, NVIDIA marginally lower. It's only down 0.3% to go green. It's got to break above 881 2/3. Look, Jay, I like your level, but like, it's, I guess, I don't want to say it's in a random area. We obviously had a lot of consolidation at this level on Friday, 875. We had how many candles at 875? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-minute candles. So we spent about 20 minutes with 875 as support. We ended up breaking that, though, in the aftermarket because the entire market tanked, though. We knew that. So we'll see. It's not a bad look, Jay. You know, maybe I'll pull it up here. I'll pull up NVDL. What are you looking at over there, Darren?
Yeah, I have to say, I'm really proud of this CLSK trade. Thank you very much to Dandelion for pointing this one out. And like the first thing I saw, Sharif and I saw it at the same time, we were like, ooh, was this pop into 1540, shows up as resistance. Look where we find support. 1540. So I like this area. I played the range. I got out of the range because I was noticing we were having a little bit less juice than I wanted us to, but that's okay. I got out 2/3 of the position initially, 1550, then added back in, got everything out of 1548. So Really proud of this trade. I was gonna give it about 10 pennies, but honestly, it was nice that we didn't really have to. We just kind of kept scooping right back up there at 1540. So I'm really happy with this. This has been my best live trade so far.
Bang.
Still a little bit down in the day because Rivian was a bit. Rivian just keeps getting more and more compressed, so that's why I stopped looking at it. But yeah, I'm still, like, I have to say, I'm really proud of what I was able to do with CLSK. So thank you, and that's why I love this community. People see stuff, they point it out, they let us know, and I think that's CLSK is staying on my side chart because if we keep doing that, you know, $10 Serena Williams style tennis match back and forth, I want to get involved in that. Also, Mara. Very happy initially, as I mentioned, I was like weirdly playing Mara short and CLSK long, which is one of maybe the most questionable pairs trades in this century, going long one crypto name and short another. But yeah, so the Mara, we lost a couple pennies on, all good.
What happened, Katina Man? The Katina Man is long, Google. Okay, yeah, hold on. 157.63. Oh, come on, bro. It was close. That was close. 62, he gave it to me. Yes. Woo!
That has to be the closest guess. I was like a couple pennies off last week, but that is by far the closest guess in the Guess Sean's Price game, an unofficial segment here on the
I know, honestly. We should do that as a segment. That's legit.
We should.
Coming into 158, look, I love that level, and that's not just because Sean took it. It's because that's where the closing print is on Friday. Look at that double bottom that Google's putting in at these levels. Initially, on that IB low, as Dan the Man Emmons says, we dipped into that 157.50. Back up we go, right into 159.25. We come and test the exact same level. Again, 157.73 is the Friday close, so we come into that general area and hold up at the $0.50. Back up goes Google. Here comes that 158 level on goggles. So shout out to the Obe, the one, the Kenob. He's back there. He's doing things. What was I going to mention? Yeah, Apple, we're about 20 pennies in the money on AAPL, but I really want a 176 move, especially if we're going to hold up above 18.1. You'd expect Apple to, make a move if the market pops up above 18.1, seeing as it didn't tank below 175 once the market broke below 18.1. So that might be some logic that may or may not apply to the markets. But again, the other trade that I want to have here, I keep mentioning, is this 507, 508 short on META. If we make a move back up there, I'm going to be looking to short the bottom end of this range on Meta. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think that Meta double bottom could be, or the Meta short could be really interesting. Also, I had double bottoms on my mind because Anurag was asking about the Tesla 164 double bottom. So here's my thing, Anurag. I'm mostly seeing the double bottom on the 1 minute. Let me see how we're doing on the 3. Yeah, so it's pretty much, I'm mostly seeing it the 1 minute. On the 3 and the 5, it looks a little bit more consolidated. And my thing with that is usually if you see things on a shorter time frame, it might have a little bit less confluence. So I just want to preface everything I'm saying with that, right? I do see what you're seeing though, but I think it could be a little bit more, especially if you look at it in a wider time frame, let's switch to the 5. I think it could be a little bit more of continuing to see these lower highs, lower lows. I'm gonna be really honest. Right now we're at that 164 again, so I wanna see what we do here. I would say be a little, and again, not advice, just my take on this. I think it's not as clear-cut a double bottom as I would necessarily like it to be. Mind you, right now we are bouncing off that 164, so I think the 164, especially with it being a whole dollar level, could be something, but I would say be patient and try to see if we can see it in any other time frames, because to me the 1 minute is not always the most clear cut of time frames, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like you want to see that on a 3, you want to see it on a 5. That being said, this little doji around breaking down into 164 on the 5 is interesting to me for TSLA, but it is a red doji. We closed red. I think that with Tesla, you always want to be a little bit more patient before deciding what moves we have. We are decidedly below the 90 MA. So what I'm trying to say is that double bounce, especially on the 1 minute aside, I think there are still a decent amount of bearish factors here on this look. And I hope that makes sense. I see what you're seeing. I just think with Tesla, it's always a little bit difficult to look at one thing. You know what I mean? So I would say as Sharif sometimes says, the balance of the evidence. Right now, we are bouncing a bit at 164, so that's a nice look. But I would say, of course, with Tesla, you want to see multiple candles. You want to see confluence on multiple time frames. And right now, actually, this doji on the 5 could be a sign we're getting higher lows. But again, just my take on the chart, I would just say, make sure that whatever your reason for entering the trade, that 1 minute double bounce is not your only reason. That's my take on that, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And for now, I would like to look at lessons. Specifically.
Can I just mention one quick thing before you do?
Yeah.
MNDR, you guys have heard me talk about this one multiple times today. This is, again, the IPO from last week. I do like this at this level, guys. Look what we're doing here at the volume-weighted average price. Now, this might be third time, not a charm, okay? $18 is the level that we had an issue with earlier as a level of resistance. We came back down, and now we're defending $18 or thereabouts. By $18, I'm talking about 18 and a third, 18 and a half, because it is a bit of a rangy stock with a 1453 low and a 2150 high. So what I'm trying to say is, very uneloquently, is I'm looking for this area here that we're currently trading at to be a level of support, but you could give up the ghost on that level. It doesn't have to hold above 18 forever. But this is the level that I liked on MNDR, and so I'll be looking maybe for a dip trade here around 18 and a quarter, something like that. I just want to point that out because I've been talking a lot about it earlier. MNDR.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Also, Darwin saying antitrust action against Google news. I'm not seeing anything on that right now, but if I see anything, we will let you know. I just wanted to put out there. Okay, it just came up here. Japan readies antitrust action against Google over search ads. Regulator expected to accept voluntary improvement plan in case involving Yahoo tie-up. Nikkei Asia is reporting this. So we'll read more about that just to make sure we have all the facts on that, but just putting it out there that is a story. Thank you very much, Darwin, for letting us know about that. Benzinga, shout out to our lovely sponsor, Benzinga. They just had that story coming up there. So we're going to take some more time to read over that. But for right now, speaking of reading, let's look at the lesson of the day. Not the best transition in the world, but here we are. Not Neil's lesson of the day, mind you, our little how to trade lesson. Although you can catch Neil's lesson of the days, definitely check those out. You can find them on, I believe, YouTube. But let's talk about riding the wave, a lesson on momentum traders. Welcome, wave riders or surfers, because today we're going to dive, pun intended.
I didn't, but yeah, but good call. Good catch.
I'll take it. Good catch. Into the exciting world of momentum trading, specifically focusing on small cap stocks. You're gonna have to buckle up. We're mixing metaphors here. I like it because these trades can be exhilarating, but they also require focus and discipline. So what is momentum trading? You have this lovely, what looks like an Olympic surfer here, just having a good time on this wave.
Doing his thing.
So the analogy is going to be a surfer catching a perfect wave, because momentum trading has the identification of the proper stock with a surge in buying pressure indicated by rising price and increasing volume. And the goal is to ride the wave up or down for a quick profit before it crashes. But why do you use small caps for this? Well, because small cap stocks, they have lower market cap, so they have a little bit less money involved, less shares, and they can be more susceptible to momentum swings. And a positive news release or strong earnings report can cause a rapid price increase compared to larger, more established companies. I'm actually going to take this down for a second to show Rent the Runway, because I want to show one example of a stock that has a small cap that really ran on earnings.
Oh, yeah.
So as you can see here, look at this earnings momentum if you had in Rent. This actually looks like a wave the way this sets up here. Whoop, crash.
Yeah, it literally does.
Right? So this is on the daily chart, mind you, but I think that's one example. So thank you for letting me just close the slideshow for a bit to show that, because I think that to me is one example of why small caps are really apt for this type of trading. Identifying the wave is really important too. So how do you spot a momentum wave? Price breakout. You want to look for a stock that breaks above key resistance levels, previous highs, with a spike in volume, because this can signify strong buying pressure. Technical indicator is also really important. You want to see if the RSI or similar indicator is indicating overbought or oversold conditions, because a reversal in the RSI from very high to trending down or very low to trending up can signify a potential momentum shift or a switch in the surfing conditions there. Also, volume spikes. You want to see if there's a sudden increase in trading volume, especially for a stock with relatively flat price movement, because that can be a sign that something might be up. Investigate the cause. If there are any news, is this trending on Twitter or Reddit? And then you can see if it justifies the surge. And here's one example of a flat top breakout. We talk about flat bottom breaks, but there's a flat top breakout. We have these higher lows, and then a swoop above, and that's when this the small cap surfer might grab their boogie board and get involved in this here. Also, price downward. Here's one example too of the RSI. You have this downward price trend and a downward RSI trend, but then you have to start to see this RSI upward trend line, which can show, hey, our price might be going back up. So this is, I think, really key as well. Also note that we had this upward surge in the RSI starting when the price is relatively flat. So to me, that's a sign, hey, we might be reversing back up. These small cap traders might want to run towards the ocean to see if they can catch that wave. So I think that's a pretty key point as well, and one thing I wanted to point out. Yeah. Catching the waves. Don't chase. Don't go chasing waterfalls, right? You don't want to go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the bit. Okay, but you don't want to go chasing momentum waves either. You want to look for the pullback. Do not jump on a stock that's already skyrocketing. It's already had its moment in the sun. You want to look for a steady rise in price with sustained volume. Your entry point is also going to be really key. You want to make sure you're entering shortly after the breakout or when the RSI starts to diverge from the price movement. Stop loss is also really important here. You want to make sure you always have a stop loss order in place to minimize potential losses if the momentum fades or if the wave ebbs and flows. Because I like metaphors. Riding the wave also really key here too, because momentum can be a double-edged sword. You want to be patient. You don't want to fight the trend. If the momentum weakens, exit the trade and wait for a better opportunity. Take profits because you do not want to get greedy. Secure some profits along the way, especially if the stock price reaches your target or faces resistance. And last but not least here, manage your risk. Small cap momentum trading is risky, and so you want to use the proper risk management techniques like small position sizing and strict stop loss orders. But you know, this is just one lesson. This isn't the whole Olympics of surfing, right? There's a lot more to learn about, a lot more to momentum trading and small cap stocks. So make sure to do your own research and understand the risks involved.
All right, we're about to take profits here on AAPL. 50 pennies in the money on this one as we defend 175, and we get rewarded for defending that 175. There it goes through the 50 penny level on AAPL. It was doing the wick shimmy into 175, but from the north side. And we know what that wick shimmy means. It means the buyers are telling the sellers, step off. We're going up today, baby. And so there it goes again. 175 earlier was a resistance level, now acting as support. We wet our beak now on some profits on Apple 175. But Benton, C. Did we talk about the tough Sunday for Arsenal yet? It wasn't only Arsenal, my man, that had a tough Sunday. Man, misery loves company, Neil. Misery loves company, Neil, okay? Exactly, I am deflecting. That is very true. It's an astute point. We shouldn't have lost that game, but we did. We played poorly. Let me tell you who I don't like on our team right now. No, not like I don't like as an individual, but who I don't like as a player playing at the moment. I'm talking about you, Alexander Zinchenko. You are not playing well at the moment, and they're putting you in because you're a ball distributor, but your defensive prowess is horrible, and you're exposing us at the left side. And when he did make the substitution bringing in Tomiyasu, he took off Ben White. Why are you putting in Tomiyasu on the right? Ben White is a stud, bro. Wrong move. You got to take out Zinni. That's number one. Number two, Martinelli is obviously suffering from that cut on his foot. He can't play. He's not running at the backs in the same way that he did, basically 3/4 of the year. Woo. Right? I mean, this guy, number one, he's not starting. You put in Trossard, because he's obviously got a problem with his foot. Now, I know we're at the stretch end of the season. Everybody's playing with injuries. You're having to, do things you don't necessarily want to do in the regular season. I get all that. But the dude just was not up to play. He couldn't run with speed. He couldn't cut in as he typically does. He usually goes outside the back on the right-hand side, cuts in, across the ball. He wasn't doing any of that. So we're having a lot of trouble. And I think that the Bayern game kind of maybe messed with our ego, messed with our psychology a little bit, because then all of a sudden we saw our two center backs could get exposed by speed. And we know Villa has speed. Oli Watkins, Bailey, I mean, they got speed. So it was a tough loss for Arsenal. Great week for Manchester City because Liverpool lost at home, Arsenal lost at home, and City destroyed the competition 4-1. So they're 2 points in the clear, but there's 6 games left. So they better win all 6 games because, you know, we know the other teams aren't losing either. That's my Premier League spiel for the day. Obviously, very disappointed, but I'm looking to Wednesday when the Champions League is back, baby, because we'll get the second crack at Bayern Munich.
Oh, hopefully you get Bayern. Hopefully
you get by Bayern.
Oh, get Bayern.
Oh.
Okay, we're rubbing off at each other now. This is really bad. Too many puns in the kitchen. But also, Mara is running up into an area that looks like a little bit of resistance for our pal Bitcoin, if I may. Look at the 3-minute chart. We have this little topping tail candle. I'm getting too excited here. I apologize. I don't know what that voice is. Then we come back into it again at this 64.8 level. I think that we're seeing some resistance. This seems to be a local resistance area, and I noticed that Mara is butting its little head against it. So this is something I want to get involved in, because to me, it's not also look at the confluence here. We have Mara doing this at VWAP, and also previous support becomes resistance. We know this. It also happens to be in confluence with VWAP, which is really cool. And also, Bitcoin is rejecting over here too. So I'm going to stop yapping and start punching in. It worked better in my head. But let's try to get involved here, because I do think there's some opportunity for me. If we break above this 86, we're going to be getting out, so I'm comfortable with that. And we are going to be, let's do 80s, let's do this many shares. There we go. Let's see if we get involved. I love the little lines. These are so fun, the little like lines.
I'm really surprised you didn't know about these earlier. I don't know why you didn't have them on.
I saw them, but I didn't know how to get them on.
You should have just asked me.
I should have just asked you. But now I have them, so that's fun. We could all be part of this fun little cool dot club, which I really like. Also, I don't want to chase too much, but I think I'm going to move my entry point down like a couple pennies, because I think I was a bit too ambitious there. But that's cool. I like Mara. I like that it's rejecting. I'm really proud of myself for trying to trade some different names. You know what I mean? I'm going live, and so you have to adapt.
Nice.
And my way of adapting is apparently trading exclusively EV and crypto stocks. Didn't know that was going to be how it is, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it so far. So what a market, what a world. Happy to be here. I need to change this to purple because this is a short, but like I said, I'm giving it to about 86. So I'm comfortable with that, and let's switch this color so it's purple. I don't know if these are all going to be the same shade of purple, but here we go. It's kind of like a black purple. I should change that. But anyways, we are purple. We are short sold. We are looking for profits around 70s, and we are pleased as punch.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. All right, we're keeping an eye on KAVL here, so I'm done with my Apple trade. Happy with that. Let me point out MNDR before I talk about KAVL, because this is what I was worried about MNDR. We kept talking about third time might not be a charm, and it certainly wasn't, Adara. So that $18 level came in, and it came in well. So if you took that 18 dip initially, you were rewarded because it bounced off every single time. And then there was going to come a time where that probably wasn't going to be the case, and that's now. So right now we're breaking well below 18, well, not well below, we're below 18 bucks, and we are below the volume weighted average price. So that level that we were looking to hold as a level of support previously, resistance, has given up the ghost. We're at 17 2/3, 17 3/4. Let's see if we're able to reclaim volume weighted average price, which is hanging out around 18.40 or thereabouts, but it's really $18. That is the level, okay? Because this is the previous area of resistance. So that's MNDR. Now, KAVL, a mistake on my part. This is the second mistake I've made today with a small cap gapper, and let me tell you why. I kept saying this is the level that I like, this $7 level, put in a dip trade, didn't put it in, and it did come into 7.10, 7.15-ish, bounced right back up into 7 3/4, so there was money to be had there. But this one is kind of doing the same thing as MNDR, similar, not the same, where it's coming down into the volume weighted average price, which also happens to be a previous area of price support. Now, how many times are we going to bounce off that level, bounce back up, and then how many times do we have to touch it for the bottom to give way, and then we get what we call flat bottom break, which we got exactly on MNDR there through 18. So KAVL continuing to be tradable in my book, in my small cap trading style book. So we'll see if this one holds up. I'd like something in and around 7.10. I guess 7 2/3 is just a little too far away from my entry for me to be taking this. So we'll keep eyes on that one. Let's flip back into the large caps and see what is moving there. We're back below 18.1 yet again on the future. So that dance with 18.1, we dip below, we reject off the 10, which is the green solid line on my chart over here, this one here. We come into the 10, 18.125, right back down we go. Do we make a newer low? 18,084 is the low of day. So if we make another low of day, then that's another low, lower high, lower low. But if we hold up above these levels and we print a new high above 18.125, that'll be awfully interesting. So decisions to be had and things to be seen at this point. But guess what? Despite the fact that the market just printed that low, look at Apple right back into my exit position, 1750. Look at that dip trade too, right into the volume weighted average price. That's a hammer candle if I've ever seen one. Look at that. If it closes this way, it has to close this way, which it has, I don't know, a few more seconds, 10 seconds, or no, it's got a couple of minutes to close. Dips right into 17 and 1/5, right back into 17.5. Apple is like the strongest Mag 7 name on the day. Not maybe by percentage, but definitely by price action and chart shape. Another thing here that I talked about earlier was the Meta short that I'd like to have. I'd like to have it around 507. It did make its way through 506. It looks like it got to 506.25 on META. The reason I want the short on 507 is because support typically flips into resistance, at least when you see stuff like this. So this is the bottom end low, 507, 508. So if we make it back into this level, I'll be looking to get short, especially if the market starts, doing its thing and also curling back down. So eyes to be had here on him, but I may have missed the short on Meta. It may not make its way into 507. There it goes, makes its way into 506.25, and now we're down into 504, below a half. So $2 off that level. This could be a big boy Huadunk here for Meta. Oh wow, the future just tanked. Look at the future. Here comes, I think Dan the Man Emmons might get that 17 quadruple 9 or triple 9 price target that he had. I didn't chuckle or anything when he wrote it in there, but I thought to myself, that's quite ambitious, Dan. Dan, you had it right. New low a day right now on the future, 18.056. Another big move down and a rejection off the 10-period moving average. The future really having trouble today, and I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that we see 18,000, maybe an 18,000 hold. Let me tell you, if it comes into 18,000, I'm going to be looking for a possible long.
Yeah, because
I'm not going to just jump into it, but I'm going to be looking for it.
Yeah, you're not going to immediately take it out, but you might want to message, see how it's doing, right? Get a feel, see if there's a connection there, right? And then potentially.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like it's any normal relationship. You got to message, text, and stuff, and then you know what happens.
See how you're feeling. But yeah, no. All jokes aside, I see what you mean about that 18,000 level.
Yeah.
But yeah, so also, I don't know if you saw this lovely message from Elon, but I think it's interesting because you pointed out that Apple, I thought that was a very nice little comment there about your Apple trade, yeah.
Let me read it. Hey, Sharif, you just demonstrated to us practice gratitude even for a 50% profit in a turbulent downward market on your Apple trade, because if you don't, losing money is even worse. Well said, Elon. Absolutely. Shout out to you, my man. And to be honest with you, I like the Apple trade for 175, and it's just, there just seems to be so much downward pressure today. I kind of had a feeling, maybe it was as good as we got on AAPL. So I wet the beak at the $0.50. We'll see if we can reinstitute a better price, but the market's going to have to hold up at these levels, Adair, because down and to the right it goes.
Yeah, indeed. And I used that opportunity to take a little bit of a short on, admittedly not a market, one that moves with the market, but I'm really happy with Mara, I have to say. This is another trade I'm proud of. We lost a couple pennies on this, and this is I think 2 pennies, and that's the first trade. And that's just because I got out because I was long CleanSpark, and I was like, it's weird to be long one and short the other. That was mainly the impetus for me getting out of Mara.
But I gotta tell you, CleanSpark seems to be a lot, I don't know, not financial advice as we always say, but a lot better than Riot, Hut, Mara. CleanSpark seems to have a better looking chart. I don't know if that reflects on the daily. Well, yeah, that's intraday, definitely.
Oh,
but
sorry,
yeah, in general, when I do look at the I hope it doesn't crash. Don't crash. Don't crash.
Oh, this is nice.
It's not a bad looking chart.
Not a bad
Well,
look.
you know,
It's not
off the highs,
great.
obviously,
Yeah.
but yeah. Rami Rahim, 199 super chat. Thank you very much, Rami, for that. I made 4K back shorting the triple Q. Shout out to you, Rami. And it was one hell of a day to short the triple Qs today, let me tell you. Where is the...
Oh, yeah, there was that super chat earlier as well from Rami. I forgot.
We're about to hit 18,000.
We are.
We're about to hit 18,000, Adara. 18,015, new low of day. That is a 300-plus point move off the top. And Apple is right back into the range high. Insane. It reminds me of NVIDIA when NVIDIA didn't give a you-know-what about what the market was doing. It's like...
Yeah. But Apple usually doesn't behave like this. Although Apple usually ignores what its
one.
Mag 7 friends are doing, so I guess this is in character for it.
True.
So instead of being the dead one, it's not the red one, which is also or it's still down on the day, mind you, but it's like less red than its friends. Like it's kind of like medium rare, while all of these other ones are like bloody. If you're gonna use
Very well
comparisons,
said.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
So. But yeah, nice look. Also, yeah, sorry, I just noticed this now. Rami had another super chat earlier today, so thank you very much, Rami Rahim, for the $4.99 super chat earlier. I made 4K unrealized long NVIDIA and QQQQ, or sorry, just 3 Qs. Walked away for an hour, came back and was down 4K, closed for a loss. Well, really happy you made your 4K back.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate you being honest about that whole experience, because the markets can be very bamboozling. As someone who is entering them live for the first time today, it's kind of a different mental beast. I was talking to some of the other guys in the back about this during the lesson of the day, and I think it's one thing where you need to get the mental part of it, at least for myself, kind of screwed on straight. So I think that's been certainly really interesting, and definitely going to look for some shorts here, because it looks like it is it's short season, not necessarily outside, but certainly in the market. It is summer weather. You're going to put on your shorts, put on your sun hat, and hopefully this analogy got lost somewhere, but get tan and wear those shorts.
I'm getting trolled in the chat, man. Sebastian, is the market tanking because of the gunners or what? Come on, bro. Like, can I just live this down? Like, I had to watch the loss yesterday, and then I had my old man two-stepping on me because gunners lost, and then I knew that I was going to get the business end of things today from the chat because of Arsenal, but that's just the way it is. If you're going to celebrate the wins, you better be ready to take the heat when you take the losses, because people are going to remind you about it. All right, I'm keeping an eye on 18,000 here. That is a level that I want to play off. That's a big level for me on the futures. It could mean a big level for a lot of Mag 7 names as well. As you can see, I've loaded up the T triple Qs. I think $57 might be the corresponding value of 18,000 on the NQ June contract. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it looks like $57 on the T triple Qs could be that 18,000 point level. Let's see exactly what we get. When we hit 18,000, we'll see what the T triple Qs is at, whether it prints 57 or thereabouts. So if you're looking to make or see an equivalent level on the T triple Qs and the future, I'm talking about the NQ, that could be the level there. Yeah, we're watching as now the low of day on the NQ June contract is 18,009.5. So on the way down to 18,000, and Dan the Man Emmons says that he has a beak wetter on the other side, the south side of 18,000 at 17,999. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on that level. We'll see what happens when it comes. Sebastian says, I am from Munich. Ah, that makes sense, of course. Of course. A Bavarian amongst us. Shout out to Sebastian. I was just joking. It's okay, brother. I mean, you can troll me all you want. That's just the good-natured ribbon of it. Big Adam Deleuze, good result for Liverpool over the weekend. Fantastic result for Liverpool. Nice 1-0 loss at home to Palace, of all people. Neil's giving me the dirty look.
Crystal Palace?
I just talk badly about my team. I can drop some lines about Liverpool.
It's Crystal Palace,
yeah,
right? Palace?
You know because of that, what's it called?
Ted Lasso. I'm pretty sure
Ted
they
Lasso,
filmed,
yeah.
I might be wrong, but I think they filmed at the Crystal Palace Stadium.
They're a London team,
sure.
you know that, right?
Pardon?
South London.
Oh, okay.
So many London teams, you would have no idea that they're from London because their name doesn't denote that.
That's why I was confused.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that's around where they filmed. I think.
broke.
So that's why I thought it was
18,000's gone, guys. 17,989 and 57 is also gone on the future. We are on the way down. It doesn't look like we're holding up at 18,000 on the moment, at least not for now. We just printed another low, so we're going to have to wait and see what goes on here. But what a red day for the bears today. The bears are absolutely in a print session. Everything in Mag 7 world down into the right, Adara. Probably all the bears in the chat are printing as well, so shout out to you guys. What a move down, Adara.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of bears coming out of hibernation, to use a pun I've seen a couple times in the chat. I'm sure they're like growling. They're super happy. Winnie the Pooh sticking the fist in the honey, like good times. But also, Apple, Joanna Brewster saying the thing that I think a lot of people are probably feeling right now. Oh no, Apple, don't let it get to you. No. I think Apple's actually holding decently above VWAP right now. So I think if you're long, I think, you know, still not a bad look. And shout out to Sharif for getting that long twice at the same level, which as a range trader I did notice and enjoy. I am trying to get short TSLL, but I do not. I think at this point we're not getting that. Oh, hello, book. What happened to you? But yeah, so TSLL I do like here, and I like it because we are seeing this kind of break below that earlier level of support. If we can come back and use it as resistance, I want all the smoke. So I do have two not profit taking, but entry areas. I'm having some issues with my book here, I think. So I'm gonna play around with that. That's a little bamboozling. But my book seems slightly, oh yeah, there we go. I think we came back here. Oh, everything's frozen? Okay, everything's down, so it's not just me. For a second I was like, did I do something wrong? And something happened. But happy to hear everything's down. But yeah, so, oh, sorry, I'm not happy to hear that. I shouldn't have said that. I'm not happy to hear everything's down. I'm happy to hear I did not mess up. Is that better? Yes. Okay, that's what I meant. Sorry. Monty G, first day, slightly red, but red like less than a cup of coffee. And not even like a Starbucks coffee. I'm less red than like a McDonald's coffee. So I have to be honest, I'm really happy with that. I am up on Xpeng, up on Mara, up on CleanSpark, down on Rivian and TSLL. So yeah, really happy with this right now. Pleased as punch. But yeah, unfortunately, and I want to clarify, not happy that everything is down. Happy that I did not mess up. I want to clarify, we are not happy that everything's down, because I worded that very poorly. But ARM, day trader cut mentioning ARM is getting smoked. So I want to mention that. Oh, the chart's not helping me with that. But let's pull up, let's see what, I'm gonna use TradingView to pull up this ARM over here. Ooh, yeah, indeed, ARM has all the smoke right now. This ARM got cut off here at the limit, this 124.40. This was an earlier area of pseudo support. Then we had even more support at this 124. ARM cared about none of it, getting swooped to the downside. It's frozen on P-Pro 8, just so you know.
Oh yeah, I know. I heard Neil yelling to Wainers. So I can cover it.
Yeah, this is what a look here.
I can cover it on my other platform.
Oh right, okay.
Right, so we can have a look at what is moving on. Everything is headed to the downside. So I just went to Brendo asking if there was anything geopolitical. Everything is headed to the downside, as you can see there. Apple absolutely gave up the ghost at 175. That is no longer a level. So we were talking about there being a buyer at 175 or below 175 because we were doing the wick shimmy dance there. That was 50 pennies ago, because we just dropped bigly $1 in one 5-minute candle, uninterrupted to the downside, and we're printing another low with the subsequent 5-minute candle now. Here comes 174 and a third. Yeah, I think something's going on. No? Okay, so it looks like there will be a response of sorts to the belligerencies in the Middle East. We're not going to cover it other than say that there's going to be a response. You can go figure out what that will be. But yeah, that's precipitated a bigger move to the downside here, Apple included, and so is the future. We could be on our way into 17.9. I didn't even think we were going to break 18,000. 17.9 incoming, 17.916 now, low of day. So we broke, yeah, 17.9. Believe it or not, 17.912 right now is the low. We're continuing to move down here. Everything headed to the downside. We do have quote issues on our platform here, guys. So we will not be able to take any trades. As you can see, nothing is updating at the moment on our platform. But I can continue to tell you what some of these prices are, and we can do some analysis using our platform. Now, on the day, The ES is down 0.92. The NQ down almost as badly as the Russell. The NQ is down 1.39. The Russell 1.49. And the Dow acting the best out of the four, excuse me, it's only down 0.48. Recall that we were break even on the NQ till about half an hour ago, or an hour ago, I should say, when we broke down below 18,175. So bit of a tougher look here. Again, sorry guys, we don't have, our platform has frozen. Did you try logging in and logging back out, or has that not worked? You're not even trying, okay. Well, I'll do it when Dare gets back, but yeah. Okay, so we just touched 17.9. 17.9 just got touched. 17.899 and a quarter now is the low of day, but you can see buying came in there fast and furious, bringing it right back above 17.9. So right now, a bit of a hammer candle forming, but we're gonna have to wait and see what the rest of the day brings here. So really, really bad move down, to be quite honest with you, on the future. Zed, could you kindly take a look at the BTC chart? Thanks, brother. Absolutely, Zed, and you're very polite in your request too, so let me just shout you out for that. Let's have a look at Bitstonk and see what it's up to, and I mean Bitcoin, obviously. I'm just joking, right? All right, down and to the right as well. I mean, Bitcoin really, you know, we've been talking about it not much as an inflation hedge, but as a chaos hedge almost, and a devaluation, a store of value. And right now, it's also taking a bit of a beating here. Can you really be surprised with everything that's happening in the world? Down to the low of day we go, breaking down below 64,000. We were doing our darndest to kind of try to stay above 64. Look at all that price action earlier, where we dipped down to 64, and then the buyers step up aggressively, bringing it right back into 64.75. But that was not to be for much longer, because now we're printing 63.931 at the moment. So we did break below 64,000. The closing print, and I know everybody has a bit of a different closing print for Bitcoin, because depending on when your when your day starts and when it ends, 64.150 on 150 or 190 on my chart here. But looks like we're trying to break above 64,000 again on BTC, but we'll have to see how that does. What else are people talking to about in the chat here? All right, guys, try not to get political. I know that we all have very strong emotions about what's happening, but the fact of the matter is, this is a trading show, so let's try to keep it on trading. Tisha Perkins, INDO might make a move. Let's have a look at INDO for Tisha. Remember, this one is from last week. Remember that? Yeah, this one was moving last week. It's from Indonesia. It's an Indonesian energy company. And yeah, it got a nice double bottom there, Tisha. It looks like at 420 or thereabouts. And if you were savvy enough to buy that, you were rewarded. Now right back above the volume weighted average price. But I got to tell you the truth, Tisha, this is still negative on the day. That is until it breaks above that 495, 494. Let's see what it does at $5. I mean, you had a nice pump there, 715, 730 in the pre, and then we couldn't, for whatever reason, get above that 570 area. So Indo's nice. As you can see, it had a great day Friday, and it's definitely still an inside day, though, Tisha. We haven't taken out the highs from Friday, and we haven't broken below the lows. So an inside day on INDO, but definitely not giving up its profits from Friday. We are still frozen here, guys. So, Adair, I'm going to send it to you while I just try to log out and log back in, okay?
Of course. So right now...
We're back, apparently. Okay.
Oh, go back?
No, we're back. So I'm going to try to log out and log back in.
Okay, I will do that after. But yeah, right now, I'll shout out some comments. ALXS saying Indo or Outdo, which is pretty funny there. I enjoyed that. We also have Kanye East saying the immortal words, I should really like, trade the charts, fam. So yeah, I like that one. I can't disagree with that. Really like this. Also, Joanna Brewster wondering what the news was. So yeah, basically it looks like there's a preparation for a retaliatory attack.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And that's what
that's just the news story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to cover.
Delivering the story if anyone missed that. Exactly. That is the factual truth of, or at least from what we're seeing right now, of what happened here. So, Renzo making a joke. Yeah, I guess the timing of my first day was not ideal, but I am happy I'm trading live here.
We may want to keep an eye on energy now. because what I was reading this morning is that, a lot of the Middle Eastern action was priced in. Some of it, though, the retaliation may not be priced in. So we need to keep an eye on energy as WTI comes back in to local highs there at about 85 1/3. So let's not forget that energy is going to have a big part to play here as a possible trade, obviously owing to the fact that it's the Middle East. So let's be real about it. Just want to mention that there.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. But yeah, so right now, like in terms of stocks, I'm still looking at Tesla. And I was seeing something too on energy, because initially energy was trading lower and then it kind of kicked back up into high gear, right? So exactly. I think, yeah, I just really want to echo what Sharif just said, because I think that's very key. Right now, let me look up, what is BTC doing on my little, on my trading view, because I haven't logged out and logged back in yet, so I'm still looking at my, yeah, okay, hello BTC, okay. For whatever reason, I've been really enjoying playing these Bitcoin-related stocks today, bit stonks, as I know sometimes they're called. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun with those. Not the type of thing I imagined I'd start trading today, but I've been with the EVs and the Bitcoin stocks, and I've been really having a good time with it so far. Like I said, I'm down less than the amount of like a McDonald's coffee, so I'm pretty pleased with that as well, actually. Thank you, I appreciate that. So yeah, I definitely, when I log back in, we'll be taking a look at that, seeing what's shaking. But right now, yeah, I mean, I still have my eyes on the same stuff. No worries, take your time, take your time. Do your thing, 21. But yeah, anything else people mentioning? LM says, apple and raisin pancakes with powdered sugar. You're making me hungry over here. Let's look at LM and see what it's doing on my trading view. LMT, Lockheed Martin. Oh yes, okay, I think that definitely is what it is, because whew, it is popping indeed. Shout out to Sharif for doing that when you were doing the upgrades and downgrades this morning. You said I'm putting Lockheed Martin on.
Oh yes.
Because you thought that could get spicy. Well, and
yeah.
Indeed it has. Right. And like we're trying to make this new high though. Look at this. We popped into this area earlier, this 456.20. Look what we pop into and then sell off from. That 456.20 is going to be a key area of resistance. I want to see what we do here. I think things could get very interesting at 456.20 on Lockheed Martin. Admittedly, kind of a random area, but it's the previous high, not previous high, mind you, but it's this area we had a little bit of struggles with earlier today. Support, resistance. Can we resist again? I want to see what happens here. Loading? We also have, oh my gosh, I can't even believe I'm typing this. Joanna Brewster saying Meta fell off 500. Meta, whew. Like, I remember when Sharif was talking about shorting Meta 507, and now Meta's below 500. So there's nothing meta about this move today. This is a major move. Or if it is meta, it's like the metaverse, in that it is massive, and I don't know what's happening here with Meta. What an analogy there. But yeah, so yeah, Internet Enforcers, we did mention what happened there with regards to potential counter-strike or defense tactics that are going on with Israel and Iran. We did mention what did happen there. So Israeli Air Force completing its preparation for an imminent attack on Iran. That is the story. So yeah, just to mention that again, in case people are coming late and they don't know what's going on. We don't get into the politics, but yeah, that is the factual, that is what happened there factually. AV, honestly, don't disagree with this. Bears in the house.
I can take over. Tell me if your charts work, because mine are only populating the data from the time that I load them up. They're not populating the previous data. Okay. So let me know how that works for you. But let's bring in the side charts over here, the trusty 8 or whatever they're called. And today it is not a good day to be a bull. Okay. It definitely isn't. 17.9 just came and went. And now we're below 17.9, 17.886. We are on the way down 1.5%, more than 1.5%, 1.56 now for the NQ. We are literally at day's lows. We're trying to break up above 17.9. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 uninterrupted red candles on the 5-minute chart in the NQ June contract. And yeah. We're trying right now to possibly do the dance with 17.9. We're doing it from the south side, so not much for me to report at the moment other than the fact that we're selling. I won't be able to trade, sadly, because I do not have the chart populating. I'm going to, if Adara, once she loads her platform up, I'm going to log back in, log back out. Again, the level 2 is working great. Time and sales is working perfectly, but we're unable to see the charts currently at these points. But let me show you this. Interesting hammer candle here forming on AAPL. And is there a corresponding one on the future? Not quite yet. Let me flip to the, I am on the 5, so not quite yet. An interesting dip down to whatever reason, 173 2/3 on Apple, getting a bit of a buy up now, trying to break back into 173.90, 174, but you're not going to see me just jump into this willy-nilly. We're going to have some proof that we're bottoming out here now. Look where the IB low is. Shout out to Dan the Man M. Is the IB low on Apple today, 173.83. So we're kind of at the IB low. We're lower than it, that's for sure. But you know, these areas are, these zones, they're not exact levels. They're kind of just general areas. So let's see if we curl back up here, especially if we start seeing some green on the future. So your charts are working.
Well, they're
great.
not I just want to say, so they stop at 1250 and then they come back at 140. So there's a big gap, but I think they are more pseudo-functional than yours are.
Yeah, like mine is not showing nothing.
Yeah,
bro.
so I can take over for now then. If
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay,
That'd be
no
cool.
worries. So I will do what I can with the part charts, the parts that work better in my head. It was just a rhyme and not a pun. But yeah, so Tisha Perkins, Indo moving, but big seller stacked up. So let's take a look at Indo. Let's see if it wants all the smoke. Oh, this is not.
It just went. It went very smoky.
Oh.
What's up, Neil?
We actually have the smoke there. With
because remember we said Indo.
Indo, yeah. That was intentional pun on my part. I want all the smoke. But let's see. Is this AM? I'm trying to find the right. There we go. AM.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, Indo, I'm also only seeing the one candle. This is weird. Okay, I'm gonna switch. Sorry, guys, for the technical issues. Let me pull up Indo on the, okay, yeah, I see, this is a nice look here with volume here too. Tisha Perkins, if you got involved in this, congrats to you. Look at this break above that that double top area that Sharif was mentioning, double bottom, double top at 470, and Indo's like, I do want all the smoke. Jumps a cool like 50 pennies, Adara math, about 50 pennies, but then we have this interesting area here too, which also kind of comes into about previous support last week, which is going to be around that 524, 525 area. However, right now, Indo looks like it's trying to eclipse it, continuing to break to the upside here. We had a pseudo double top around that 580 area. So to me, that will be the area I will be watching out for potential resistance on our pal Indo. So let's see if it wants any smoke above that area. I want to first watch what we do at 570, then 580 to me will be, if this is the Acme, that could be a sign we're heading down. If we break above it, there could be some more strength here. Looks like we are still struggling with our P Pro 8 charts, unfortunately.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, this is interesting too. Gatekeeper mentioning, or I don't know, I said Gates, it's just one gatekeeper. Gatekeeper mentioning UPST getting below 20. Yeah, I mean, let's see. It doesn't look like it's starting up. Oh no. Down start, more like it here. Ooh, this is bad. Down, as Sharif just said. This is interesting though. I see what you mean. Gatekeeper, I like this pseudo double bottom we have on the 3-minute here, and little rangy area. If our charts were doing things, I might get involved in this, because I like this 22 bottom up into that 22.30 area. Like I said, I'm not trying to trade the more expensive stocks as I trade live, but this is about a $20 stock. I feel comfortable trading Upstart. So if Upstart doesn't upstop this movement, I do like this range of 22.10, 22.14 to about 22.30. This is nice to me. But yeah, I see what you mean. I think if we break below this, I think this could be with a swiftness there. My name, brain turned off, Gatekeeper. Yeah, I thank you for not gatekeeping this stock, because I think this is a nice movement down here. And I think if we break, and there's just a pun on your name there, if we break below, I think this could be a nice look, because look at this. We have this little chop and churn. We're down on the day. Let's see the 1 day to see if this is, gotta switch my chart around here. Yeah, okay, this is interesting too. This is almost a flat bottom break on the daily chart. I love the sound of that.
Yeah. Chilean Nightmare killed it on that flat.
That's a great looking animation. But also, shout out to Fabian and Ramin or Ram. But yeah, I think too, because I know Neil talked us through this live with that Li Auto flat bottom break. And I think too.
By the way, I was very happy to see Neil trading Li Auto.
I know you were like, ooh, Li.
Yeah, because usually we don't trade Li because the volume sucks, right? Yeah.
He's usually not great. But yeah, Neil mentioned that earlier and then took advantage of that. But I think too with Upstart, what I like about this, sorry Gatekeeper for going off on a tangent of the stock you mentioned, lower highs, look at this, lower highs. We come to 22s. This is an area of support we've danced with a couple times. But look, earlier, back in February 2023, it was an area of resistance. Upstart, I think you're going to downstart at this level, and I do want all the smoke. So thank you very much to Gatekeeper for bringing up the stock I haven't thought about in many moons, which is Upstart. So I think that's a really nice look. You did not miss a bond auction at 1 p.m. there, Louis Tortora. Yeah. We're not really sure what happened there, so just some ongoing geopolitical stuff with Israel and Iran.
Middle Eastern belligerence.
Oh, I just saw, yeah, I missed that you replied to that. Sorry.
I love saying belligerence.
You do.
Did you know that people, like parties to a war, are called belligerents? So you're like, okay, who were the parties to the World War II? You'd be like, okay, the belligerents were.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that?
I've heard of that, but I never made the connection.
It's like, okay, so you're being belligerent, you belligerent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That's true.
So, guys, HUBC, new small cap gapper. I don't want to say this is new because it had a day Friday. It also popped up big. If you were up at 4 a.m. for whatever reason, like I used to be in 2020 and 2021, try and trade these small cappers. We opened up there at $1.48, and then we really got going to $2.50, and then we retraced it in the matter of minutes, and we were down below the volume weighted average price. We tried to kind of go green there at 11 o'clock, albeit very briefly broke down in a V-shaped retracement again, but now the ascension above the volume weighted average price, above that $2 level, has come with a steady inclination and a fair dose of volume to support the move up. It's been a very nice higher high, higher low move up on HUBC. It hasn't been as volatile as some of these other small cap gappers. It is up nicely, 56% today, and it's above a key level of $2. Let's see if that trend continues. Most of the retracements on the 5-minute candle chart are coming into the 10, which is the green solid line on my chart. When the retracements get deep, they're going to the 20. So it depends on how you want to play this. You want to, take a little bit of a more higher risk and try to, take a dip trade or a retracement trade off the 10 period, or you'd rather pack your patience and get a better price if it comes down into the 20. Right now, that's a yellow line on my chart, this yellow solid line. So HUBC doing things. Hub cybersecurity company, minuscule market cap, $20 million market cap. The float, a little larger, 7 1/3 million shares. So not a bad look there. This one, again, like I said, moved on Friday, and it is one that we are familiar with. Also, shout out to Tisha for INDO. What a nice break and hold through 5 there, Tisha. Keep your eye out, though, Tisha, on that 575 or thereabouts. It's not just a local level from the pre today. This takes us back into actual regular market hours on Friday, when the majority of the prints were rejecting off that 5 3/4, with the best print being up into that 595. Couldn't quite break 6 though, Tisha. So INDO, great trade for you if you took that on the day. And I really don't have anything bad to say about it, other than to point out to you that KAVL, which was a small cap gapper du jour, it was the leading one, up 150%, has now broken down below VWAP, and in my book is no longer tradable. That same goes for last week's IPO, goes by the ticker MNDR, now only a cool 11 3/4 up on the day. It's also broken aggressively below VWAP and that key level of $18. So we're gonna have to keep eyes on the new small cap gappers that are tradable. HUBC and INDO, they're both doing things at these levels, but it really hasn't been about the small cappers today, despite the fact that they are the focus of our lesson. It really has been about the market in general, and the NQ more specifically, because what a big move down, guys. 18,350 today was the high. We broke down briefly, and we are now below 17.9. So well over 450 points worth of range there. And the Mag 7 names all have paid for it, including Apple, which is now down a cool 1.5% after going break even for a quick sec there. Also, Meta has given up the ghost at 500. It is now trying to curl back into 500 with the shimmy wick dance coming from the south side of 500, meaning that it's being met with aggressive selling or shorting. At that level, 497 1/4 is the low of day. This has been stepping down. I'm talking about META, despite getting a great positive note from an analyst today about, the monetization of Reels, this, that, and the other. It's supposed to be a good money maker. I got to tell you, though, even when I go on my Instagram now, Reels is still not being monetized.
Really?
No.
There's no ads?
You want to see?
Oh, I do. I like how aggressively you
let's
grabbed
go
your
into
phone.
Reels, and then we go into here, and you're not going to see one ad pop
No
up.
ad.
Well, it's slowing down now, but there's not one ad that'll
it's just
come up.
videos.
No. But when you go on Facebook and you go onto Reels, they are monetized. So Instagram's still not being monetized for whatever reason. I don't know why. And I don't like the way they're monetizing it. They're showing an ad on the Reels on the bottom, and it's covering the comment section, so you can't even read the description of what the video is. So I don't like
It's
the way. It's
disrupting your viewing experience.
Yeah, no, but like I'm being real.
No,
Like that's
same, yeah.
disruptive.
That's what
like,
I'm saying.
Literally is,
Yeah.
you know. So I don't like the way Meta's monetizing. I like the way TikTok's doing it a lot better. That's just my personal opinion. But you know, TikTok is the superior social media. No question.
No, I do agree. Yeah.
Ram, hit the bangs, Ram. I got Ram on my side.
Happening there. Chris J asking about the markets. Yeah, let's switch to the Qs. There have been. I've had some issues loading some of my charts, so there's a bit of a gap here in the Qs. But I can switch it up to, yeah, we're having some, there was a little bit of an issue with the platform, but here on TradingView, I have the Qs up here. We have fallen to the downside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 5-minute red candles in a row, interrupted with a little green doji, then 2 more red candles. So we had a bit of a pause here around that 431 area, then continue to the downside. Let's see, or not 431, I guess closer to 432. But let's see what we do here. I think that this is interesting. We could be having a bit of a bullish engulfing here, but I think, like I said with ETFs, I try to use less of the patterns and more just what we're doing. So I think beware of the market. That being said, this is a nice little bullish candle here in the 5. But as Sharif was saying earlier, you cannot make your decisions all based on one candle. So be aware of other candles that might be in stir as well. Also, I want to be upstarting something. So let's see. I want to get into upstart here. I'm interested in this 212 area.
Neil's jamming.
Oh, yeah? Want to be starting something. Yeah, we're just taking over here. That's a great beat. But yeah, so, it looks like we are upstarting something. We got into upstart. It looks like the timing of this might not have been optimal, which is unfortunate. But we're giving this like 18s. I'm not just using that because that's the only candles I can see on here. I am also using that range note to gatekeeper for bringing this one up. Not gatekeeping this stock, that's for sure. I like this 22.18 area, so we're going to give this about 6 pennies of risk. Then I want to see what we kind of do below here into 22.05s. We're kind of getting pretty close to where I want to leave, so we're going to have to wait and see on this. But UPST might be the place to be for me. So let's see. I want to see us get above 22.18 on the buy side, and if we do, then that's going to have to be a no-go for me. Okay, buy upstart. You decided to start back up? Cool. Bye-bye. So we're just we should be out. We'll have to see how that goes. I did not plan this super well. That's okay. So bye-bye upstart. I could have been a little bit more patient, but I'm just trying to get to the hang of getting in and out of trades, especially because this is a bit of a new environment for me. It's like I feel like Princess Ariel in a whole new world. So let's see. Or no, that's Aladdin. That's a wrong Disney princess. Jeez. That would be the whole new world, the magic carpet thing. Yeah. I was thinking part of your world. But also, let's look at Disney. Speaking of, if I'm going to reference Disney, I may as well just pull up the chart. And DIS, just chopping and turning here, had that sell-off like the rest of the market. And this is interesting, too. We had a couple of moments of support here at this 1390. This is a nice little range earlier. 133.90, not 1390. Then we dropped below, 113.90. Third time's the charm. We said the number right this time, 113.90. Bit of a chop and turn here, fell below. Seeing another round of chop and turn here, now at 113.16. So Disney faring pretty well over here.
Indo is coming into highs, Adara. So all the small cap traders, this is the level that we topped out in the pre, this 575, and it is the level that we couldn't break on Friday. Be careful with this level, at least initially. You may reject it and then come back down a little bit, then break the level. It's not going to be there forever and ever, right? So there is, the opportunity to break 6. But the point is, usually you reject off that level because a lot of people are looking to take profits. Shorts are looking to institute a position around this level owing to the pre-market top and the Friday top at these levels. So be careful. Big move up for INDO, though. Shout out to Manuel Palma for bringing that to my attention, that it did come into that 5 3/4, and true to form, it is rejecting coming into that 5.5. But I think there is a chance that this one does retrace into the highs and maybe really give $6 a run for its money. We know on Friday at around 12.15. The best print we could do was at $6.95. $5, pardon me. $5.95, excuse me. $5.95 was the best print. That came in at around noon on Friday. INDO, an Indonesian energy company, and energy in focus, guys, vis-a-vis the Middle East. You wouldn't know that if you looked at the CL May contract today because, well, oil is still down 0.3%. So this is the West Texas Intermediate to go green on the day. WTI is going to break above this $85 and 2/3, so 85.66, 85.68. We're awfully close. We're about 30 pennies away from that. But as I look at my energy watch list, XOM down 0.5 point, Chevron down 2/3, Occidental down 2/3, Devon 1 1/4. Fang down 1/5. So there's a lot of red names in energy section in the energy sector, today, despite the fact that you could have made the, I think, legitimate assumption that if there was going to be continued belligerencies in the Middle East, that we would see oil rise. Seems to be like that's already priced in, at least for the day. So keeping an eye on, obviously, on energy as well as these big tech names, because it has not been a good day for the overall market. Right now, I just want to mention the futures, 17.9. We talked about 17.9 being, these 100-point levels have a way of acting as resistance and support. And right now, 17.9 is holding up this market from absolutely huadunking. At the moment, 17.914 is where we're printing right now, with the low of day being about that 25 points lower at 17.876. Ugly, ugly day today for the longs on the futures, so we'll continue to see if we can recover a little bit here as the market digests that information coming out of the Middle East.
Yeah, speaking of futures, Sorayajit, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name. Sorayajit Saini asking if we can show the SPY, and yeah, let's look at the SPY here. This is interesting. The SPY looks like it might be curling up a little bit here. Again, don't want to make too many assumptions on a few candles here, but we did have 2 green candles back to back here, making this continued climb to the upside. I would be kind of interested to see if we could eclipse this 506.50 area. It might seem a little bit arbitrary, but we had a lot of failed wicks into that level. So I think eclipsing that could be a pretty nice look. I can't believe we only have 2 minutes left today.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy day. Thank you guys so much for your support as I embark in live trading. It's been a really fun, crazy journey thus far in day one. I can't believe we only have 1 minute left.
Yeah. And I'm going to take that opportunity to shout out Dan Emmons, because I saw him kill it today. We saw Dan's levels. I called out his levels live on the show for you. It was an absolute print factory for Dan the Man Emmons. What was that, Dan? A 300-400 point winner today on the future. Shout out to you, man. You held true to your guns, and look, you were rewarded today bigly by the market as, you take advantage of some of the trouble there in the Middle East. About 30 seconds left on the show, Adara. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, my final thoughts are, I think it will be definitely, it's going to be like a bit of a different week, I think, given everything that's going on. But hopefully, we're able to give some market coverage and some understanding to people, and we're always happy to be here, bring you guys these markets. I don't know why I made this so Oscar speech-like, sorry about that, but that's okay. I mean, we have a whole week of small caps. Last week we went to do ranges, which I love. This week we're doing Sharif's little herb of small caps, and I'm excited to get involved in some of those as well. But we'll see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. For now, though, we do have the big kahunas and Brendan.
See you guys.
Desk.
Hey guys, let's get into the final couple hours of a pretty active Monday here. We are starting to rally back to the upside, but negative in a decent